This is the time to come together to keep our country safe forever. So open up your heart, let us show love number in. Love is all we need to make a stand. Let's all save one another and let's live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have a peace of mind. Let's celebrate and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we
Dakpannah.
have. Sweet Liberia.
Dakpannah.
Love is all we need to
I
make
think
this
I got
stand.
a problem. I've
Celebrate and
trying
have
to
a
double. I'm
peaceful
trying to open
home.
my camera, but it's not going.
Love is all we need to make it
So take me for the
stand.
broadcast. Let me come back.
Celebrate and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. The one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia. Land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we have. Welcome, wherever you are, however you are following. I want to say welcome to a brand new edition of the Dakpannah Show. I'm excited to be back with you on the nation's premier platform where we discuss the issues that matter most to Liberia. I want to say welcome wherever you are. However you're following, I want to say it's good being back with you on the nation's premier platform. I'm excited. I'll always will be here with you. And I want to say thank you. This is the Dakpannah Show. We are wholeheartedly appreciative of having you on here with us. Wherever you are, however you are following, I want to say welcome to the Dakpannah Show. This is the nation's premier platform where we discuss the issues that matter most to Liberia, focusing on the growth and development of Liberia. Everything Liberia and Liberian related. I want to say welcome. Thank you for joining the broadcast. Please help to share the live. Tell a friend to invite a friend. We are so excited to come back to talk about all of the happenings in our country, Liberia. Want to say welcome. Thank you for joining the broadcast. And want to say Happy New Year to all of you guys joining us. Happy New Year. We are in a brand new year, 2023. Today is the 7th day of January. And from my end, I want to say Happy New Year. The year is gradually going, and going, gradually going. So I want to say welcome. Tell a friend to invite a friend. This is the Dakpannah Show. We are excited to be back, and we are excited to be back. It's good being back with you. Yes, tell a friend to invite a friend. Share the live. We are broadcasting on a new page called Dakpannah 24 Online because we noted that our Dakpannah 24 news and television is having some issues with Facebook. So because of that, Facebook is restricting that page. So it said that we violated some of their community standards. So they have restricted our page. We have appealed, but it's like they don't want to accept our appeal. So we have an alternative, the Dakpannah 24 online. If you want to get the notification, you want to get the highlights of the Dakpannah Show every time it comes on, or any program on Dakpannah 24 News and Television, you can like or follow Dakpannah 24 online for now. But we are still broadcasting on Dakpannah 24 News and Television via screen, yeah, but it's highly restricted, so it's limit some of the things that we do. So once again, welcome. We're excited to be back. Tell a friend, so invite a friend, and we are all good. We are good, and we are all good. Today we have our colleagues here, our panelists, and our guests. We'll be looking at all the issues, all the happenings in the country, a lot of things to talk about. Want to say welcome. Tell a friend to invite a friend. We are excited. Share the live. Want to say welcome to the broadcast. I want to say thank you all for joining the broadcast. Okay, we got a problem here. We got Mr. Brian appearing 2 times, so we got to take it off for one of them. Let me see. Okay, okay, all right, it's good. All right, okay, I think it's good now. All right, all right, all right. Thank you all for joining the broadcast. We are excited to be back with you on the nation's premier platform where we discuss the issues that matter most to Liberia, our common denominator, our common patron money. It's a brand new year. Today is the 7th day of January. And I want to say it's good having all of you on here. Thank God that we all have crossed over to this 2023. We hope that this 2023 will be a year of positive change for us as individuals and for our country as a whole. And we are excited to have our dear brother, Mr. Shelton Duo. He always there, all the way there in I don't know, it's Brooklyn Park or it's Brooklyn Center or it's Minneapolis, but Shelton is in Minnesota, the state of 10,000 lakes. Mr. Shelton Duo, welcome to the broadcast. I'm excited to be back, and I know you are excited as well. Okay, welcome, my brother.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you ever so much. And we are excited to be here.
Hmm. Today,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I've been finding some difficulty in getting through because I have a new phone, but
Okay.
I may not end the show with you due to the schedule today, but we are here.
All right, no problem. No problem, my brother. Whenever it's time for you to leave, you just notify me, and yeah, that's good. And but it's better to better that we are having you for some time instead of not having you at all. So I want to say welcome. So then we have a guest with us, and he no stranger on this platform. His name is William Slim King Bro, but his real name is William W. Bro. Yeah, he's a product of the Marvel College and Industrial Training School, and there where I'm from as well. And he was our student council president, representing the Student Reformation Movement (SRM). I know Mr. Rose, well, I can remember, but yeah, Mr. Bro is here, and he was one of those Liberians that welcome President Weah a few, I don't know, weeks ago, a month ago, in France, and he spoke on behalf of the diaspora Liberians in France. And President we are referred to him as scientist. He's a scientist. But Mr. Bro, welcome. Thank you for always accepting our invitation to join us on the platform.
Yeah, that's it. That's the fraternity. You know, we share that
Mm,
together.
Lawyer we shall ever be.
Yeah, lawyer, we shall ever be. Thank you for the mood. You know that mood. So that's why we will always be, especially as a former leader of that institution, if a product of that institution call, especially when it comes to promoting whatever way it is the, the best thing we can do is to promote. So
Mm,
it's a privilege. It's a privilege again, and we are proud to be here.
thank you for joining. Shaton, so
Yeah.
you want to you want to kickstart the discussion because hey, people already brand me as a sedition, but I always tell people that every time I come on the platform, I try to speak to the issue, the fact, which is at hand. So when I speak to the fact, you will know you're sedition, but anyway, that's not an issue. But Shaton, you can go ahead, and our brother is here. I don't know if it's the first time, but I don't think so. But go ahead and interact with Mr. Bro while I try to do sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bro. Is it King Bro, right? William W.
Bro, yeah,
King
but
Bro.
the man named me Slim King. He's a slim guy, so he's a Slim King.
Oh, so he a point as in category.
Yeah.
That's
Two
it.
people. Okay, Mr. Bro, welcome to Dakpannah Show. This is a show that we disagree to agree, and this show we accommodate everyone. We are here as Liberian, even though different political party. But when you are Liberian, have a liberty to appear here at any cost. The panel said people brand him as sedition, but it's not a crime for you to be a sedition. But the only problem out there with him, you cannot come fake. If you are sedition, you just be bold, I'm a sedition. Then people on your side. But again, welcome to the panel show. Like I told you from the Genesis, we all disagree to agree always. And one thing I will tell you before the show starts, with all our disagreement, only thing we can recognize is our common denominator, which is Liberia. So welcome again to the show. We have a lot of panelists that will be joining all in time to time or while the show ongoing. But I would like to start by asking you for you to please introduce yourself better because you know yourself better than anyone else here. So who is Mr. Bro, by the way?
Yeah, Mr. Bro is a Liberian from Sino, and I am a seditian, a bona fide one too. So I would definitely be here today to defend my political institution. So that shouldn't be a surprising one. And we've been in the student advocacy from junior high and high school days. And we are just productive Liberians. I'm an entrepreneur. I also work here to run my little business. And we have been a student. We've been studying other activities in school, like politics, philosophy, and what have you. So today we are here in France. We also went to school. We learned French. So we are just one of those Liberians that young one too that try to contribute to the society in a positive way.
Okay. You say you live in France, right?
Yeah, I live in France, but I'm frequently in Liberia. So I live between the two countries. But real life, I live in Sino. I'm just
Okay.
I'm just here in France because I have my wife, my children, everybody lives here in France. So but I'm frequently in Sino. I was just there recently to get myself counted during the census about 2 months
Okay.
ago. Yeah. So
Very good.
always there.
You sound like somebody who adding some political things. Sound.
You got it right. I can say yes. That's the fact.
Yeah, one way or the other, yes, I can say because we are all politicians, and so we will always have that ambition, especially when our people are ready for us to serve. We definitely be ready to serve because we are prepared. That's why over the years we prepare ourselves for that, and we keep preparing ourselves for that. So we are set and ready for that responsibility when our people call upon us.
All right. Okay. Mr. Bro, you according to your introduction, you say you are proud citizen. What made you to choose CDC over some political party?
Okay, I can remember in 2005 when I was serving as the student council president in Monroeville College, an industrial training school on Clay Street. I had a full political institutions that approached me because at that time those political institutions were trying to recruit brilliant young people, especially student leaders from various institutions. So they contacted us from Monroeville College. They contacted my colleague who was the student council president in the College of West Africa and other top institutions in the country. So at that time, we had the Liberal Action Party, we had the Liberty Party, we had the Unity Party, and we had the CDC that approached us. But between the four political institutions, when I was coming up, especially I had a problem with the disarmament process at that time. Uh, I advocated at the U.S. Embassy one time we went for a conference there that why is it that the UN is trying to disarm people who participated in the war and were given a scholarship to go to school, but they were denying us that never participated in the war directly that scholarship. I believe at that time it should have cut across all of the young people in the country, whether you fought the war directly or not, because we all were affected by the war. So I threw the questions to all of the political parties that wanted me to join them at the time. Then most of them never gave me any genuine answer. I only got a support from the Congress for Democratic Change at the time. And then I also scrutinized all of those people that were serving as standard bearer for the various political party, like the Liberty Party. I saw that Charles Bronski was connected to Charles Taylor. He served a councillor for Charles Taylor at the time. I look at Liberal Action Party. That time it was running Sherman, who had a stigma on him from the Lamco people payment because he was serving as lawyer. I look at Unity Party, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who was once upon a time a chief patron of the war who sponsored Taylor. And I only saw then Ambassador we are the only neutral person that I could have supported. So that I supported President then Ambassador we are. And I got criticized at that time because people were saying at your level and this, that, you one of the brilliant young men, why are you supporting Weir? And the reason I gave, I said, because he never participated in the war. I cannot be support anyone who had once upon a time participated in the war. That was my ground. That was the reason.
Uh, Thank you ever so much, Mr. Bro. Thank you. Before Dakpannah comes in, I said what you just narrated about at the time before joining CDC, you saw President Weah to be the clean man at the time. But most of the political leaders was one way or other having stigma. So yes, my other question to you. So right now, since President Weah became president now, and you found out that most of the war law have been, I would say his friend. When you look at the life of Prince Johnson, who one way and other fought war. When you look at how they call him, the other guy who from Buchanan, man, I would call his name, but love see Prince Johnson to be the case study for now. And a lot of guys who have stigma that yesterday CDC were calling for war crime code. They have become the friends of President Weah. So you now, are you disappointed because of the stand you told yesterday to join a clean person, and then the clean man now has turned to encourage those sin law or warlord that you hear yesterday?
The first thing, before I answer your question, let me make some correction. The CDC has a political institution because I joined the CDC in 2005 as an academic voter, and we have never, ever, as a political institution, ever advocated for the war crime code. There were individuals in the CDC that advocated for the war crime code, but CDC as a political institution, we have never advocated for war crime code. That's it. That's why sometimes I get listen to people all around discussing. No, we have never. It was Mobile Molo who was a member of the CDC who controlled that war crime code movement, and we participated. I personally participated. Me and Comrade Jefferson Koji, our current Secretary General, we all were part of that. And Phil Tapedison, we all were part of that. And Sion Brother Mohammed Jaliba, who at the time was the student council president of the AME University, we all were part of that. So it was a movement by itself that had many of the participants or members of that movement were CDCians, but they were not doing it as CDC, Congress for Democratic Change. Now, let me come to the second point, that why George Weah now surround himself with these people? Yes, he cannot do anything because most of those people you're talking about were elected. And when the people went to Accra for the peace accord in 2003, the people called the Liberian people in know those Liberians that represented us in know the war crime code and introduced the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So, and it was enacted. Our legislators at the time, the NTLA, agreed upon that, and that's the trend we took. So those people, where they came in our society and they were voted for by their people. So the president had no choice but to work with them because it is legal. So he had no choice. Any leader that can right now will work with warlords because we never prescribe any punishment for them. So you will work with anyone that was a former rebel or something. But I will advise people not to vote for former rebel. That's our own way of punishing them. If we are educated to that, we can do it. But if the people didn't follow it and they vote for the people as their leader, the president will have no option but to work for them.
So will you advise the president not to work with those people, not to work with them?
No, I cannot advise the president not to work with them because the president is the president of the Republic of Liberia, representing every Liberian. So any Liberian that was elected by their people, by the people, the president must work with them. Any other Liberian also that probably is qualified and competent, but once upon a time participated in the war and they won a job and they qualified and competent for it, and the president have a rule set up, they can also work. What make that person is that the president will have the power to fire them if they misbehave. And also those people that were elected, the president don't have the right to fire them because they were elected, and the president will be obliged to work with them because the executive branch of government and the legislative branch of government have to work collaboratively for the interest or to seek the interest of the Liberian people. So
Mr. Bro, I'm getting confused here. Before Dakpannah comes in, Dakpannah, I know you will soon come in.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You saw the president yesterday as a clean person. And in my mind, when you get a clean person where we're working with somebody that is not clean in your view, you as an individual, as a Liberian, that why if you were to meet the president today, will you advise him not to work with people that their character are being at stake? Because you did not support, according to you did not support Councillor Bransky, you did not support other leaders who you feel their character was somehow matter to you. But then you get a president now who is a clean man and he associating himself with people that character is not clear. So what will you do now as a Liberian or as a Sidician if you were to meet President Ware today to advise him? What would be your advice?
Okay. Your question, I will put it back to you and strike an example between you and myself. How many senators do we have in the legislature? We have 30, right? Okay.
You are right.
Okay. If you are the president and I'm one of the warlords, God forbid, I can never be. I'm a senator. Dakpannah is one of the warlords. He's a senator. And you as the president, it wasn't you who voted for me or for Dakpannah, but Dakpannah people decided to vote for him as senator. And my people decided to vote for me as senator, probably because they feel I saved their life during the war or I was defending them. Dakpannah people talk the same. Now, if we in the house and you, Mr. President, you send a bill to seek the interests of the Liberian people, Dakpannah and myself decide to step on the bill, you have 13 senators. You have about 14 senators that went that in favor of the bill. And then Dakpannah and I join another 13 senators to probably, or 14 senators to make it 16 to go against your bill. You as a president, will you not call Dakpannah and myself to lobby for that bill to be passed? Because when the two of us votes act on it, it will make us 16. Will you not do that?
Hey, Mr. Bro, you are making something here.
Yeah, I'm
If I
coming. That's the point I'm coming to. That's why the president had no choice but to work with people who were elected, because parliamentary procedure has to do with lobbying. If you are lobbying politically in the House of Parliament or the legislature, you don't look at people's character, because it wasn't you who placed them there. It was their people who placed them there, and you must work with them to have your
thank you.
interest or your goal passed. That's the objective. So the president has no choice but to work with those people that were elected by their people. We,
Okay,
as a people, we supposed to be the one not to elect them. But when they are elected, the president have no choice but to work with them.
okay. So as per the angle of governing system that you make mention about, we do see that to happen more often. But maybe you did not get my question from the genesis. I'm talking about the president going in marriage or the president seeking the support of warlord. That's what I'm talking about, because the president, the CDC, asked Prince Johnson to support him during the presidential and legislative election. Looking at
Yeah,
him to president, why should he even be talking about seeking somebody that is not clean according to you? Why should he even say be making a point to support you in the first place? Because
yeah,
according to you, your president is clean. Why
yeah,
should he seek support of somebody that is not clean?
yeah.
That they
Politics. Yeah, let me also respond to that. Politics is normal, and your vote will depends on the kind of people you have in the country. If you are a politician and you probably a clean person, and then you have about 500,000 people that are supposed to vote, and you have a good agenda for the country, and you have about two, and you have maybe only clear 200,000 votes, and then you have your opponent having another 200,000 votes. For you to win your opponent, maybe you need another 100,000 votes or 60 or 70,000 votes. And the person who controls these 70 or 100,000 votes is one of the warlords. What you will do as a politician is to convince that warlord to convince his or her people to vote for you, so that you can accomplish a better thing for your country. Because on the contrary, you will lose, or you will lose the election rather. Because the population mindset, that's the person they're going for. So you just forced to work with them. So sometimes leaders, whether they are clean or not, their decisions are influenced based on the way the population think. So politics is about numbers. You cannot ignore that. When you ignore it, you won't win any election. So sometimes you got to go with the devil in order to accomplish your mission. But you
okay.
yourself shouldn't be the devil as a leader. But you can work with the
So
devil to accomplish your mission. But you yourself shouldn't be the devil, because when you yourself the devil, when you get to power, you will not accomplish anything. But But you now can transform that devil to become a better thing in the future after convincing them to join you, and when their people join you also. So
Okay.
that's why we need a leader who is clean to also transform people from their evil deeds to become good, like we are doing now.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
why?
you. Shut down. Hold on right there. Hold on. Hold on. That welcome, Papi,
Yeah,
Mr.
that way
Papi,
I'm coming to.
Cody. Papi, where are you? That Sherry. I see Sherry. Oh, Sherry Cody.
Call it Junior.
Okay, I thought I saved you, but I see Sherry today. But anyway, Papi, welcome.
Thank you very much. Well,
So the Sherry is the official name. Is the document name.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's good to be back here again.
Yeah,
Um,
we have Mr. William Bro, who's our guest. He's from the CDC, and we question him on the happenings within the country,
is he is
more
he
especially.
is he
Mm.
telling us? Is he going to tell us uh activities surrounding the guns?
But when you pose a question on him, I guess he
Yeah,
answer.
if you pose a question, I'm going to respond to that.
All right. I mean, it's good to be here, Mr. Bro. Welcome to the show. I'm sorry that I have to come in late. I had some other family emergency, but however, I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Shut up already started, so you guys can go ahead. I'm yet sharing the back, so yeah, go ahead.
All right. Basically, like I was in the back following um, questions from Mr. Sheldon Duo. Specifically, I think you if I if I may get you right, you're making mention of the workings of the legislature, particularly the president being head of the executive. It is the prerogative of the president the endorsement of any influential politicians that will be able to enables him to accomplish his goal. So with that said, I listened to Shelton. Shelton spoke about Senator Prince John. You know, Liberia is a country. At the end of the day, we reward people who created mayhem, and at the end of the day, the situation that has to do with the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court still remain something that even I remember when this government was in opposition, they all advocated for it. They staged protests, specifically in front of the U.S. Embassy. They visited a lot of international organizations, the United Nations mission in Liberia then, and I
Who,
also
Mr. Cody, you said when the government in opposite. Who? Because Mr. Bro just told us that the
All has
CDC as
been
a
out.
party never, the CDC as a party never advocated for war crime code. It was some members.
I mean,
It was a movement. It was not a party organization advocating.
have I even have I even have I remember I even have lot of clips, recordings of this current president, His Excellency George Manuel. He spoke on countless occasions. Even I also remember this current president even referred to Mrs. Sully as a rebel president. Just so you know that. So I mean, and one key thing he used to stress that our country should not be a country that at the end of the day, people who created mayhem, they will be masquerading in the corridor of power, but rather there should be justice. And I also remember this president call on the president to report quarterly because according to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report, the president needed to have been reporting to the legislature quarterly on the update as it relates to the role leading to the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code or the implementation of the Truth and Reconciliation report. So I don't know from whence Mr. Bro is saying that this current leadership did not advocate for it. The only
Uh,
person that can be exempted from that is the current vice president. The current vice president. at no time. But the president, the current chairman of the opposition, of the current ruling establishment, Mobake Molu, on countless occasions, not one, not two, as a countless occasions. So if we are here at the end of the day to say, oh, they did not say A, at the end of the day, we just want to sweep everything under the carpet, it's not going to be helping our democracy. It's not going to be helping our democracy.
Okay. Can I address that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can come in.
Let me repeat, because I was in the youth league and continue to be in the youth league since 2005 as an academy voter when I joined. CDC as an institution have never ever advocated for war crime code. I challenge anyone to bring that claim to say CDC as an institution say they are calling for war crime code. They are individuals, including myself, from the CDC that advocated for war crime code. One of our head for that group was Mobake Model at the time. We had a spectrum group that we formed ourselves, that we advocated for war crime code. We even have people from the opposition, like from the Liberal Action Party. We have senior man, and what his name again? I just call his name. He's the former student council president of AMEU. He was part of us. We have Mohammed Jali. We have a lot of people from different political institutions that were with us, but we were dominant citizens in that institution. But see, it's just looking, let me give you an example. It's just looking like today you have in the opposition, there was a group who just established itself to be called POP. I don't want to give them credence, but I just want to bring something on, like the Council of Petra, for example. The established itself to be COP. That's how we did. But we never used the Congress for Democratic Change to advocate for war crime code. No. I challenge anyone to bring that document or that thing. Yeah, if President, we have an example, then Ambassador, we are talk about maybe something like, oh, people should be prosecuted. One mistake we're making here is that we don't even need, with the time we were advocating for war crime code, it was because we as a group that formed ourselves to advocate for war crime code, we were looking at the current security situation and the time to hit the people before we go for elections in 2005. So we wanted people to be prosecuted and to be excluded from the political, from our modern democracy, so that they cannot be elected, because we saw this coming that when these people contest in 2005, they would be elected by the people because they were powerful and the people had a perception that they saved them during the war. So we're advocating for that with the presence of the security on the ground, the UN forces, 16,000 troops. So we're looking at their presence and we should do. But we were continuously debunked because of the powerful hands that were behind it and because of the agreement of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC. So they said, no, we cannot establish a war crime code because we already signed a document, which is the TRC, that people will come on the Palaba Hall, they confess, talk what they could talk, maybe they could recommend, and they could get people to code within our code system to be prosecuted. So with President Wiaba then were discussing about within our code system for people to be prosecuted. Now war crime code. He never spoke about war crime code. No, President Wiaba as an individual never spoke. He was talking about people should be prosecuted within our code system that committed crime.
So as we speak, I will direct you to specifically October of 2012, when former Auditor General and the current president made a specific statement that their government will be establishing the War and Economic Crime Code. So was that a statement of the political party or CDC?
Which document? I want you to give me that record. Let me go and search it.
In the first place,
give me your reference. Let me write it down, because that I have never heard President Weah talk about establishing war crime code. President, there's a difference between prosecuting people within our justice system and establishing a war crime code. Are two different things. I follow Weah like my ABC. So let's be careful here. He have never talked about establishing a war crime code or even an economic. First of all, in 2012 that you're talking about, I can remember we got angry from 2011 when our colleagues got shot. Some of them got killed within the CDC compound. We advocated that those people that kill our people should be prosecuted. I'm thinking that from that background, that the then ambassador, we have spoke that people should be prosecuted within our court system, but not from the background of war crime. So I want you to give me a reference of that area. Let me mark it down immediately after the show so that I can do my research.
I mean, so like I was just referencing that just so you know that these are documents that are available or statements.
Yeah, but give me the indicators that I want so that myself can go and do my research.
Allafrica.com. That article is there. And
who wrote all what?
Allafrica.com.
Okay, All Africa. Who wrote the article? And the date, specific date it was written.
Well, it was published by the newspaper in Liberia.
Okay, and the U quotation that we are in the quotation that we are talking about war crime code.
CDC government to establish war crimes code.
CDC government to establish war crime code.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then who spoke about it?
It was the former Auditor General who spoke
about it.
Mm-hmm. John Molu.
But the former Auditor General had we wasn't part of the CDC as an institution. He's not. First of all, he wasn't. It wasn't CDC that was speaking. It was an individual giving an opinion. But anyway, I will do my follow-up on the issue. But CDC as an institution have never spoke about war crime code. Let's get that straight. People always get that misinformation and disinformation in the public about this. It's wrong because we were there. We know. In fact, anytime we go to that, we used to be debunked within our own political party that we shouldn't talk about that. We used to be debunked. You know how many times we got disenchanted about that? To form ourselves as a separate group. We were, as CDC, Congress for Democratic as an institution, have never advocated for war crime code. It was individuals within the CDC that advocated for war crime code. Top individuals.
I do have...
Papi,
and
Papi, please 1 minute. Mr. Brock, let me ask this question. Why do you think most of the hierarchy of CDC, they are calling for war, the establishment of war and economic crime code, but they are not taking a specific decision to represent the party? Why do you think the cause? Because most of your hierarchy, they are in favor of the establishment of war and economic crime codes. But when it comes to reality, it's distant the political party from them. Why you think? What really you think is the issue that they cannot call as an institution?
Yeah, because political party is a conglomeration of all Liberians, and when you form your political party, you got to be critical in your decisions that you will take. First of all, the reason why a political party go by law of the country, the law that was established after our civil war in 2003 was that we have a TRC system that we must go and sit and talk about confusion, and people who will be prosecuted should be prosecuted within our court system. So it has become a law. So as a political institution, it is very difficult for you to come and go against that law. What you can do with that law, if as a political institution, is maybe the legislators that will be elected from your party who go and push it at the level of the legislature. Now, so for you to take that decision as a political party is very, very critical and complicated. So you can have people from your political party to be advocate for that. And when they are advocating for that, who knows? As a pressure group, it could bring pressure to bear and then it could be established. But guess what? We were denied. We were denied. And the time we were advocating for the war crime code as individuals from the CDC with other police, from other political institutions, it was because we top it from 3 different angles. Block those people before they contest elections in our country because they were powerful. They will be elected based on the gullibility of our people. Our people were they were gullible. 2, we had a security on the ground
Mr.
to
Bro,
make that happen.
okay, Mr. Bro, according to you, your party did not advocate for the establishment of war crimes code, quote unquote. But last year, your current finance minister, Mr. Samuel Tue, specifically conducted an interview defending reason why the government of the CDC or the CDC government is unable to establish the war and economic crimes code. And some of those reasons were, oh, the country do not have is a safe security system, and more besides, Ellen should have been the one to establish because he had the presence of the United Nations mission in Liberia. Now, according to your finance minister from the CDC government, he said, and I quote, that as we speak, the country's security is fragile. What do you make of that? And you saying the CDC did not advocate for it?
My brother, the finance minister was speaking as a statement and as a astute official of government. Certain Liberians currently are advocating for war crime code as we speak. So the finance minister was only giving an analysis that we cannot listen to those Liberians plight now as a government because of the circumstances that are existing. He was not speaking as a CDCian at the time. He was speaking as official of government.
The Sima Serena Seaford that was sanctioned also spoke.
My brother, we shouldn't retrogress. CDC as an institution have never advocated. People, the government has the right now to talk.
It is confirmed by your finance minister.
No, you are misunderstanding it. The finance minister spoke as an official of government representing the Liberian people. If certain portion of Liberian people want a war crime code to be established, the government cannot deny them, or the government will give them reason why it cannot be established.
The Solicitor General even gave reason why.
Yes, it is true. I listened to the Solicitor General.
It was prudent.
My brother. My brother.
It is not prudent.
I agree. Listen, I agree. But they were not speaking as CDC supporting it. They are speaking as officials of government.
As people from the CDC. From the
No. Yeah. He spoke as Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. Get that straight. Serena Seaford is not an executive of the CDC. Get that straight. You see, that's why we got misunderstanding of interpreting people.
Mr. Bro, just be reminded that the former Solicitor General that has been sanctioned was used to be the legal person for the CDC. Just so you know.
Granted, but he's not speaking as a CDC law legal person or something. Hey, excuse me. Let me give a point so that we can leave the topic because it's not important topic to discuss. Listen, if you are, like for example, I'm a CDCian and my party never advocated for war crime code. If tomorrow I become a representative, when my citizen comes to me and tell me that, look, we need war crime code, I will be speaking in the capacity as a representative that, look, because of so and so reason, our government cannot establish war crime code. That doesn't mean CDC support war crime code. That's English there. That does not play with the English. He was speaking as an official of government who should be answerable to the Liberian people. So he was answering to the request of certain Liberian who wants the war crime code. He was not speaking to say that CDC support war crime code or because we don't want to do it because of this reason or this reason. He was giving a reason as an official of government. So let's get that English. Let us not play with that's how we misinterpret people.
Mr. Bro, is that top officials of the CDC government and former chairman and also former legal advisor for the CDC, now Solicitor General and Finance Minister respectively. But
they were not granted. I agree. But they were not speaking as CDCian at that time. They were speaking as officials of government, are two different things. The person who make decision for the CDC or who deliver the CDC policy statement is the chairman, the secretary general, and our public relations officer. Those people were speaking in their capacity as officials of government.
Okay, Mr. Bro. Let's move on to another thing. Something that have caught my mind or my attention. CDC as the ruling establishment. I don't know as to if you have gone with that, but however, CDC as the ruling establishment, we saw on Nicodemus elections or Congress or quote unquote convention midnight. What went wrong?
First of all, there is nothing called Nicodemus. That will make us to be smarter than many of the other political institutions in Liberia. You understand? We understand that we have some political elements within the Republic of Liberia that wants to be manipulating our democratic space. That maybe when within our party, we have our messages that went through. We got our own way of communicating critical decisions when we want to make that. We observe that there are people who want to smuggle into various political institutions to dismantle them, like they did in their former CPP scenario. So we communicated. We had our own way. We communicated with all of our partisans that we have our convention at so and so time. We kept that in line, and we had our conventions, and we elected all of our core officers. So it was in line with the agreement of our political institution mandate. So it was not Nicodemus later.
Midnight, 2 o'clock?
Yes.
2 a.m.?
It is not illegal. Any law in the Constitution, do we have anything in the Constitution that political parties shouldn't have convention midnight? Show me that area, then we cancel the result of our election.
What your Constitution says? I'm now a citizen. I'd like to know.
Our Constitution is in line with the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia.
But Mr. Brown,
every political institution can have election at any hour of the day.
But Mr. Brown, just for me to provide some information here to Papi, recently we saw the U.S. election for the speaker. When did it finally get done?
No,
it was like 1:45.
So those things are. And people only speak English, and then just to manipulate the people. Political party can have, in fact, do you know when political discussions are heard? From 2 o'clock in the morning all the way to 4. That's the time you have sensitive political discussions. Anyone you see having discussion in the day, that one I just read my road, I click, you are playing. In fact, that because of that.
But Mr. Brown, was it legitimate? Was it a legitimate Congress?
Yes, it was legitimate Congress. It was approved. The Congress for Democratic Change Executive Committee approved for it.
From what I heard you say, there was some element I want to infiltrate. So, I mean, element from where?
From the opposition.
How? Explain that to us.
The same way they finger the document and dismantle the opposition, similar thing they wanted to do in our political institution, and we are smarter than that.
Information that we gathered is that Mr. George Speaker, who happened to be the president and the flag bearer of the political part of the CDC, instructed the current Maritime Commissioner General, Len Eugene Nambe, and Professor Wilson Tappe to move ahead and go ahead to take over the political party, that is the CDC, to convention while you are away. And then, surprisingly, information hits back home. The intention for that was to get Mobile Molu out of the way, because information was that Mr. Molu and President Weah could not see eye to eye.
My brother, the people who gave you that information, tell them there is a lie from the belly of the devil in the Congress for Democratic Change. Anything that President Weah says, that's why you see in political party, if you don't have arrowhead, you will always be dismantled. President Weah cannot pass a mandate, and anyone disrespect that mandate. So that person who gave you that information, they are just lying, or they are some of the propaganda that they are spreading in the party.
Mr. Bro, something caught my attention. Something caught my attention as it relates to that convention. I saw most of the people over there winning on web ballot. Why? There are no competition in the CDC anymore.
No, there are competition, but in politics, when people becomes mature, people don't compete unnecessarily. Especially when you are going to a key elections, we are the governing party. We have to show example of maturity. It's like this. First of all, before we have convention in the CDC, we can have what we call a smoke screen convention. What do we call the smoke screen convention? Jabana want to be Secretary General. I want to be Secretary General. Our brother Paulie want to be Secretary General. We come together with knock head. We say, look, my man, let me just relax. That carry Jabana. Paulie will say, okay, no problem. And we just leave it. So that when we go to the convention, we can go in unity as family. In the CDC, we are more than a political party. We have become a family. So we don't here to be battling over position. That's why I brought this unity in the CPP today, because everybody want to show themselves to the extent that people want to finger document, people want to manipulate, people want to do block voting, people want to do this and that. And we, from the Congress, if we become dismantled, the entire coalition will become dismantled. Today, you can observe because of our maturity, we are playing the leadership role in handling the problem within the MPP. That our president immediately, when Jim Bondi made that statement, our president immediately called Jim Bondi and our vice president, our able vice president, Madam Joa Howard Taylor, at his office. And then today that problem is settled. That had leadership. That had leaders perform. You have to be mature. In politics, you must have political compromises to avoid confusion and mixed feelings. That's the maturity of politics.
All right, Mr. Bro. Let's move on to something that we're well exhausted. Okay. 2023 is here. Voter registrations.
Bobby, don't forget about Sheto because you got to call him in before you come in.
Yeah, voter registration is up next. Particularly, that is something that for me personally, I have some key interest because it is about time for the Liberian people to be able to exercise their political franchise. And the only way you can be able to exercise that political franchise is by you, first of all, mustering the courage to go out there and be able to register to vote. I mean, let's begin with that. What are plans from the CDC? As it relates
plans in terms of what?
In terms of, civic education, in terms of the voter registration process.
Yeah, our plan is immediately the voter registration start. We will have our people all in the trenches to encourage Liberians to vote, but we will not be going as a political party doing that. We will disguise. We send our partisans, but they will not be going again as a political institution. Yes, some people, our officials of our political party will be on various media to encourage people to register to vote. But most of our people that will be encouraging people to get themselves registered during that process will be citizens, but they will not be going in a capacity as citizens. They will be going in a capacity as Liberians, encouraging their fellow Liberians to register to vote. So that's what we've been doing from time to time. All right. So we will definitely be doing that.
Okay, let's look at the 2023 elections. Why should President Weah be given second term?
It is very, very obvious that he must have a second term. If we will go into that today, the first thing I will tell you, because of 6 major reasons we have to be reelected.
Well, number 1,
education. Education. Number 1 is education. Today we have public universities and colleges free, tuition free.
But the situation of subsidy is a problem.
It is not the issue of problem. Problem will never end, but the program continues and people are graduating under the program. So problem will never end on earth. Problem will always be there.
People are graduating under the program. They are not absorbing the needed curriculum that is supposed to, because there are a lot of challenges.
Who will not absorb curriculum and they qualify you for graduation? Who does that? I have never seen that in university studies or college. You must absorb all of your curriculum before you graduate. So who does that? In fact, you're the first person I'm hearing that from. Have you ever, if you attend university, if you maybe fail in certain courses, can you be granted clearance for graduation? because as a curriculum, the courses are the curriculum. So how is it possible? But it surprised me. I'm shocked. So the program had challenges. The free tuition policy have its own challenges. Yes, we know. We know we have lapses. We need to improve. Since we have the free tuition program, we have to improve the environment of learning. That one we recognize it. We are working on that. The environment of learning where you must have good equipments in the school, good laboratory, good library, and improving the teachers' own opportunity to teach our students very well. But these are things we're working on. But the free tuition policy have put up 3 different set of graduates across the country from both universities and colleges. So the program is moving. We never had that opportunity when we graduated from high school. We looked for that opportunity, we never got it. So I gave him plus. So now education, he passed. He should be re-elected for that because he contributed to our society to reduce illiteracy.
All right, so let's go to number 2.
Number 2, health.
I mean, building structures without the needed people or the trained, qualified people to be able to work is not something that someone should be rewarded for. Because
granted.
I know you're going to make mention of the 14 military hospital, the Babulu hospital, Phoebe, CB Doma, and other hospitals around. But guess what? Recently, the finance minister was involved in a tragic accident. At the end of the day, where is he? Turkey, correct? So you tell me help.
Okay. Now, let me tell you something. Granted, we've had a meeting that people build building. The first thing before you have a hospital, you must have a building. So even if you call it, if you're president of Liberia and you build a building, and even you put nothing in the building, that's an improvement. If I become president, I'll put something there. So that's the first improvement. We must be grateful for that. Now, but not the case.
But we already have.
I'm coming. Just give me the point. Give me the thing.
Okay.
We have hospitals, granted, but those hospitals are in terrains that are accessible. Other people are far away from the capital. Wapolu need a hospital. We have another hospital we built in Riversense. People need a hospital there. All the hospitals have equipments. The 14 military hospital rescued us during the coronavirus, the heat of the coronavirus, and it is functioning. So the 14 military hospital even rescued some opposition leaders who had corona and who went through the quarantine processes. So we have built 3 different hospitals. And some of those hospitals are still under construction, like the one in Grangida, like the new Redemption Hospital in Kabwe, that's still under construction. Now, with respect to qualified people, we have sent more than 30 doctors out of the country, specialized. More than 10 have returned. Maybe some of those people will be appearing during the President's State of the Nation address. He will be showing them. So more than 10 of them have returned. You know, to go for specialized training, you have to, it will take you now 3-4 years. So we are not just building the hospitals, but we have people that we send out for specialized training to come and buttress. With respect to Minister Tue, let me tell you something about life, my brother. In a society where people take politics over their profession, politicians don't risk their life for those people to treat them. So it becomes your choice. Even when Liberia get an improved health sector today, yes, it becomes a choice that your life.
It was a choice for Minister Tue to request that he should be flown.
Yes, it was a choice. Yeah, it was a choice. Let me take, for example, yes, give me change. Out a year. If I'm in Liberia or you are in Liberia and I'm a politician and people know, let me tell you what damaging our country today. People are mixing their profession with politics. Doctors and nurses shouldn't be politicians. They can have the right to vote, but you cannot be into politics. Do you know in Liberia, there are some nurses, I'm coming.
Because we have politicians in the hospital wards.
Granted, but don't mix the profession.
Mr. Bro, I want to jump in right here because the information that we gather is that it was because of the circumstances beyond the control of our doctors in Liberia. He was very critical. He ain't well. That's the reason why they left. It was not because of
Yes, I'm
treatment
coming
or
to that.
choice.
I'm coming to that, Jabana. I'm coming to that. I just want to give
But then the earlier information provided will be conflicting from what we have gathered.
granted. You are right. That one I agree with you. We have doctor deficit. And remember, doctors are not trained within full 5 years. Those people go for training for 8 to 10 years before they get specialized in a specific area. So it is
But
not
you
it is
both know
not
the
so much. But I want to give you why sometimes some of these people go out of the country to be treated. Is because most of our people in our society we should be depending on for our life. Like me now. Do you know that when I'm in Liberia and I'm ill, I will not take the risks to go to any hospital because if possible, I could bother with an opposition doctor who could inject me to kill me? They mix their profession with politics. So I will take my child to fly back to France to get myself treated to my doctor. Not that they ain't able to treat me. So it has become a choice because our society is polarized. So we must first graduate from that stage of polarizing and being unprofessional.
So
When
what
it
a
comes to
legacy.
our job, let's get our job. And when it comes to politics, let's talk politics. Do you know nurses in Liberia, when you go to the hospital, can be insulting you? They don't even know how to talk to you. So we have we have a problem that we need to work on as a people. So it is not so some of these people you see going out of the country for treatment, not that those sickness or those problems they are facing cannot be treated in Liberia, but it has become a choice because they are afraid of certain doctors before they get killed. People are doing it. They are capable of doing it in our country. I've witnessed it on so many occasions the way doctors talk to certain people. Some people, when you go to the hospital, oh, okay, that is 1 year where you can be talking in support for the party, okay. Can't hear. They will even abandon you.
Okay, Mr. Bro, let me hold you there. Papi, that will invite Mr. Augusta Akoma on the platform. He's one of the panelists, but he's a supporter of President we are. So I think the question should be thrown to both of them.
Yeah,
Welcome,
hello.
Gus.
Sorry, I'm driving. I'm not sure if my reception is going to be as good as all of you guys. Yeah,
Okay.
how you guys doing? I was just listening to the last comment by my brother about why people leave Liberia to go out of the country. I actually think that is also flawed because, look, let's be honest. The reason why you will even think about those things, that somebody is going to be injecting you and doing all of these things, is because of one thing and simply one thing in our country. We refuse to do things correctly. We refuse to pay people right. We refuse to do those things that will make people behave ethically. Okay? I've always, every time I get on these platforms, I remind Liberians of this. With all of the rules in America, people still bend the rules. But guess what? When they get caught, they pay the consequence. I lie. We have a political leader that's no longer here today, right? That man was going to jail for a while. Okay? Look, if nurses, doctors, or clinicians were getting paid well, the stuff you're talking about, like nurses costing you, they will not cost you because you can replace them. You know how important it would be for people to be wanting to get into the healthcare field because it's paid well? Of course, these are the things we have to do. We just blame ourselves so many times, folks. It's not us. First of all, newsflash, us as human beings, we are one of the worst creatures ever created by God. We will lie, we will cheat, we will do everything wrong. The only reason why we will not be able to do those things if there is a consequences, okay, of our actions. And this is one of the things we refuse to do in our country. You know, you can't tell me in this America, the same people that live here, those same nurses that if you brought them in America, they're smart enough, they can get a nursing fee here. They know, one, don't share people information. If you do, you will get fired. Okay? They will not do it. Two, if you don't treat a patient well, your hospital is going to get sued. Plus, you will be in jail somewhere. Guess what? Because of those things, we don't do it. So, my people, let's not blame ourselves all the time. our leaders in office or in charge refuse to fix the system. And if we don't fix the system, we'll continue to have these problems. What else are we talking about? The hospitals. I heard you guys talking about the hospitals. So what is the opposition people saying now? It's wrong to have hospitals? Is that what they're saying still? Dakpannah. Because here's the thing I want to remind people. Listen, Dakpannah. Papi, let me tell you guys one thing. Liberia, first of all, do not have enough hospitals, do not have enough schools, do not have enough of most everything. Now, I get your point. Let's fix the ones we have. That's true. But guess what? That we already have. There's laws on the books. Those should be taken care of. But if they're not taken care of, and the people that you send over there to represent you, maybe we change them too. Okay? Because every school in Liberia that is a school today, first of all, after this war, they should have all been broken down and rebuilt. We did not do it. Granted. Now we're right here. So all those schools supposed to have funding every year in the budget. But when the budget go by, does anybody, including you, Papi, and all you people in opposition, how many of us even sit here and criticize the budget or allocation? We don't. The only thing we talk about the political names that we see. Nobody ever caused a stink and said, let's go protest because, you know, CDC budget or Madam Salif budget did not have enough money for education or healthcare. Nobody ever did. So we have no reason to talk because you know what? When we're supposed to talk, we don't talk. So, I mean, that's our problem with that. But President, I want to commend those people for building more hospitals. And we need 10,000 hospitals. And some people say, oh, the road's not good. Guess what? What do you think? How long did it take them to get to Masurado now? Since you said the road not good from Bapolu to Bapolu, how long does it take them from Bapolu to Masurado? So do you see how much this healthcare facility will alleviate the people from some of their issues? Look, we got to think critically, man. We can't always just think within ourselves. Thank you.
When you talk about pavements or it's easier to commute, I know we do a lot of R7 work, particularly more especially. We had the president and his delegation going there. So we have the team from the Ministry of Public Works that did some R7 work. So that is not a sustainable road that was done.
That's not true. But let me tell you something, and I'm going to cut you off. Look, my brother, the opposition biggest problem is, again, it goes to our people, Liberians, who are very lazy. First of all, let's be honest. The president should have never, I'm Gus Koma saying this hospital should have never been dedicated yet.
Correct.
Okay? That's what the argument should be. But all the way we argue is so lazy that sometimes it's easy for the other people to just say, my man, you're just jealous. The question should be, what was the expediency of opening the hospital last week? Are people available? Are people going to the hospital every day now? Do we have the staffing for the hospital now? You see, that's a debate that nobody can get away from because you're debating on facts, and they cannot hide from it, my brother. But you know what we do because of just this political stuff? I don't like this group and this and that. We say, oh, the road, the man, how you call it? My man, we used to walk. I grew up in Funjaman District, Lofa County. I live in one of the best suburbs in America today. But yet still, I know how it feels like to be able to walk on Fridays to go in to the villages so you can get food and bring them back. So you can't tell me those roads are bad. Oh, the road bad because of the president. How many people in Bapolu own a car? In 2023, serious question I'm asking you. How many citizens of Bapolu own a car?
That should not be a question.
No. It is. Because listen, you said means of transportation.
God,
you did say means of transportation.
It's not about mobility. It's not about only mobility to live to that place. Because
no. Because you are basing your argument on the road condition you just said. And again, I'm going to base my answer based on that lazy argument, because when you say the road condition was only spruce up because the president was going there, well, I tell you what, maybe since it's spruce up, people can still be able to access it just like the president team accessed it last time. The truth here is this: it's not about that. It's about, is the hospital ready to be served to service the people in Bapolu? That should be the debate, and I would join you on that debate.
If I ask you that question, or if I ask Mr. Broad that question, is the hospital ready? Because we listen to all of the political statements that the president said, oh, you know, this hospital going to be serving people in Bapolu as some part of Sierra Leone, as well as
But you understand in English, it says it's going to. But it
what
says
the president was saying is just a complete fallacy. Because
no, it's not. Because again, you agree to it. Because your argument has just been based on the road. That's why your argument has been based on all this time. Until I just listened to you.
Can I come in?
Go ahead.
1 minute.
Let Sheldon jump in and then you come in, Mr. Bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I think God, you one of the sedition that can really boast of, because sometimes you address the issue, without favor, without fear and favor. You are not one of those that always at it. But here is the thing that you're missing. I don't think the argument should be a citizen or a lot of citizens from Bapolo should have mobility or get access to mobility before the road can be faced. The fact of the matter is, once the road is failed, you have hospital there. If anybody, even from Morocco or any of the countries that you have an accessible road, the person could drive there easily and go have and see medication. But I don't think your argument should be a lot of citizens from that side should have access to mobility before the road can be faced.
That's not what I was saying. I was just trying to basically make an argument. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, we all agree we want the president transportation get there, but you guys still complaining there's no road there. When the president can drive there, other people can drive there. What I was just simply saying was this: if you were going to base the road condition on why the president should have never built there, because that's the argument. Why is he building a place way out over there? They don't even have a road there. If that's your argument, then that's what I'm saying. I live in the interior. We didn't have cars everywhere. But you know what? We used to walk. You know, hammock? We used to do that. You know? So do you know 90% of your country today still use motorcycles and stuff for transport? Even bodies, they're transporting on motorcycles?
God, I have a...
That's the point I was trying to make. So go ahead, man.
You are clear. I have a question.
Okay.
So, bro, come in.
Yeah. I want to commend my
Who
brother.
coming in? Because Sheldon talking. Who's coming in? Who coming in?
I'm here.
Okay.
I have Mr. Bro.
Yeah. Yes, I will just be brief. I want to commend my brother Gus. You see, arguments is logic. And sometimes when you bring certain argument, people can defend it from a logical point to beat your argument when it is lazy. So I think that the point Brother Gus came from. You said no road, but still the people say using no road that is available to come to Moreover and go back to their place. So Gus is saying that even under that circumstances, they still have access to road. It is better. And one thing we should know is that people always talking about like, we have to do everything overnight like magic. No, it doesn't work that way. Do you know why it takes to build 1 kilometer of road? Those roads, all the roads have rivers. Do you know why it would take to build one bridge? So these are processes that we have to be patient and push our government. Then also, you should look at your budget, the envelope of your budget. What do we have as envelope? Right now, we talk about 800 million to solve more than 20 billion problems. But like you have your home, you're making only 500 and your 10 children demanding you to buy them 1,000 iPhone or 1,500 iPhone. Then the children are unreasonable kids. They have to look at what daddy earning and try to manage with daddy to earn. Maybe you have your neighbor your children seeing the neighbor who making $50,000 with his 10 children, then he's buying one of a child iPhone for 1.5 or 1.2, and they want you who making 500 to buy that same phone for them. Liberia, we have a very small envelope of budget that is distributed to thousands of problems. So we have to also understand these things. That's just the point I wanted to make. We'll go deeper into that as we go
Yeah,
forward with
Sheldon,
this.
Sheldon has a question. Go ahead, Sheldon.
As per the analogy that you made, it also go right back to you, because you as an institution, CBC, for people, your give people an impression that you guys are going to do almost everything. Like I said it the last time, CBC always appear like in a story where you get your wife and your children home, and then you promise your children that if you going home, you are going to buy XYZ for them. But then when you get home, your children decide to ask you, you started telling your children, hey, the last time your mommy said she was going to buy you guys so thing, and she did not buy it. Why are you asking me? And that game that CDC playing right now. Most of what you just said, most of those things, when you guys were in opposition, you all put people under impression that when you all take power, you're going to do one day time. And then Liberian, the impression you get to Liberian is not working. So that's why they are asking you. So why are you deviating that, in not one day, not 2 days, when in fact you are giving the people that impression?
My brother,
What? Go ahead.
it will be, I'm coming, let me just respond briefly. It would be very funny for somebody to say they can build a deplorable country like Liberia within 6 years. No, there is no magic. In fact, some person cannot believe that. We were giving you a picture that when we are given a chance, what we do. And under the 6 years, like I was naming some of those developments that are never ended, but our politics come in, so we have to cut it short because we have to allow everyone to talk. If we are given a chance, do you know we have performed since we entered into our modern democratic dispensation? We are the only government that performed in the first hand than any other government. I have all of the comparison analysis data before me. Our performance in 6 years, in 5 years, in fact, doing
But you
Madam Seri, because we got into our modern democratic dispensation from 2006. Madam Seri never performed like that in her first 6 years. I challenge anyone for us to go by data, by development, by development. We put this one down, put it.
Mr. Bro, Mr. Bro,
So
Papi,
these are things we
Papi,
look at. So when you
Papi,
give us chance, we will do more
Mr. Bro,
development. It's a process.
Mr. Bro,
It
hold
cannot
on
be
me.
done overnight.
Mr. Bro, hold on me, Papi. Come in. Let me raise the issue here. Brother Gus, Mr. Lobajila has a problem with you. He said that it's a disrespect for you to be driving and you're not on camera. So I hope you take note.
Don't mind, Luca. Tell him, man, I come and call him. He need to come on the show.
Okay, Papi, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, when you were talking about comparative analysis about comparing Mississippi government to George Weah government, there are several things that there's nothing.
6 years, 6 years, get it straight, 6 years
Even the
for the first term.
we compare the first 2 years of Mississippi to that of the 5 years of George Weah, there are a lot of things. So don't go there. The data like
Oh,
So,
no. So, Papi, so you tell the man to not go there. Can you go ahead and tell us?
the data
Thank you. So it can be, I want us to have a special show for that.
No, Papi.
Leave it. Yeah, but when I invite, or I will bring all of the comparison you bring yours. Go do your research. I will
Papi.
challenge any human being. In fact, I have put it as a, what we call, I do a whole video
Hold on, my
during the
brother.
campaign that I will
My
show
brother.
any question development year by, in fact, month by month, and I will show geography development month by month.
Let
I have it on
me.
video. It
Yeah.
is not a joking matter like we talk blah blah. No, I have it on
Papi.
video,
Papi,
and
let's
you
be
will see what
honest.
I'm talking about.
Papi, look, let me tell you something. Here's why some of us even get so pissed off at that 12 years that was wasted. What George Weah is doing today, we could have 30, 40, 50 hospitals in Liberia under Madam Salif. If Madame Salif has said, let's build a new hospital every year, or 2 or 3 in every county, the international community was willing to help us do that. Don't forget, Madame Salif said, let's burn this shit down. Let's burn it down. We'll rebuild it. Did we rebuild? We did not rebuild. This is an issue. Look, Joshua and them have their own fault, but you have to be honest. In the first 4 years, this man is doing everything based on your country's own input, your taxes, and all of those things. We also know the first 3, 4, 5 years, he was not even talking to anybody outside of Liberia. We know those issues, those challenges that were there. Some of it was all of their own doing. But yet they are still able to show you that they build hospitals, they're doing these things and whatnot, roads and whatnot. You got to be impressed. Now, we can go after them on their failures, but to sit out here, my brother, and think Madame Salif group, 12 years with basically unlimited amount of funding coming for anything. You talk about military, you wanted to rebuild it. Liberia didn't pay for it. America came and rebuilt our military. Police. Do you remember when our police first started? Do you know what they were driving, Papi? I don't know if you're old enough there to remember.
God, stop, man. Stop like
I'm asking you. What were they driving? What kind of vehicle were they driving? I asked you directly.
Okay, Brother Gus, Uncle Peter saying that, yes, he agree with your argument. Eddie didn't do much, but you guys, the government that you support, is carrying on more corruption than Eddie.
Well,
The government officials are building palaces
I
all over
will
the country.
totally listen. Oh man, what is old man? Uncle P, I
Uncle
can
Pete,
follow
yeah,
Uncle
Uncle
P.
Pete.
I follow
Mhm.
Uncle P very well. And Uncle P, you are right. And these are the arguments, like I said again. Listen, if you want to be CDC, that's the argument any opposition should go after CDC on. That alone can resonate with the people. But if you talk about what they have done with whatever little they have, I mean, the president has done a lot with all of the corruption we're talking about. He still has done a lot. You know, these people were supposed to rebuild our high school. Look at our high school. If you go to G.W. Gibson, G.W. Gibson was better off before our war than it is today. Todman High, all of those, the multilateral systems, they're all laying in ruins. This was supposed to be all built. Your University of Liberia. Thank God the Chinese decided to build us a new one in Fendel. And again, Papi, were you complaining? A lot of people can't afford transportation to go to Fendel. You didn't say nothing about that because you were there at the time. You were rubbing elbow. You know, like back in the days when we used to cut palm, they say when they cut palm that day, everybody can be eating the oil can be rolling down your elbow because you ain't think it's gonna ever end until when the time is done. When palm time is done, the palm isn't ripe anymore. Then you're trying to get oil. You can't even find enough oil to eat your dry rice. No, this is where we are, Liberians. What happened is there was so much money coming in. Liberians thought we had a great economy. We did not have an economy. All we had was people paying salaries to unmail people, and they left. Guess what? Because you did not build anything, this is why you are where you are. And these people, for them to prioritize that the first 2, 3 years or whatever, they did not. And we all criticize them for that. Okay? They did not. Now, are they doing better? Yes. You can see it by their international contacts again. When you stop behaving, people like America and all those countries will stop behaving like that. I'll say this. President Weah was gifted by the sanction. And I will continue to say that to anybody. Some people don't like to hear it, but it's a fact. Some CDC. That was the best gift that ever came to President Weah. He will never fire those people. Thank you.
Okay, Papi, can we move on to the training discussion?
All right. So basically, like Mr. Brower, like issues or let's say accomplishment of Mr. Weah, you are on number 2.
You want to continue with that?
Yes.
Okay. We're
So
gonna discuss the army
If you want
ammunition.
me to
You know
continue,
that.
no problem. I will go to
Hmm.
infrastructure. I'll start with a housing unit for the poor people. We have constructed thousands of housing units that we give to the poor people free. They are not paying dime for them. Thousands of
Mhm.
housing units cut across the country that they are not paying dime. In fact, it is the first time in our country history for a government to construct housing units and give it to the population free. Myself against that idea. But the president said he wants to because in my mind they should be paying something towards it, at least little thing. If even it is not much, even when at $10 per month or $5 per
So
month, let them be
ownership,
paid.
so you can
To,
feel like you got some kind of
yes,
ownership.
yes,
that's true.
to
That's true.
to
That
to budget.
government be housing unit and give it to people free. That's not
Yes.
true.
So they did that free thousands of
Sheldon,
housing
Sheldon,
units.
Sheldon, Sheldon, do you have facts
Yes.
to challenge him? Are you just saying that true? It doesn't mean that's a fact.
Yeah, there is a fact. Right to
Okay.
where they get Cabra estate that was constructed by Togo. People that live there, they live there free. They start paying money to
That's
own the
not true.
property.
All of the no,
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 hey
no.
man, my
All of the
brother. You
estate,
see,
no, 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 no. They
excuse
have
me,
to pay. Thank you.
excuse me.
Man, go
Those
find your
Right.
those
history.
estates are coming. Let me come in. I don't want to addressing it. Those estates that were built during turbo time, they give them certain amount of years to pay. And when you
Hmm.
pay, the
Yeah,
property
that I
becomes
know.
yours. But it is not the case with this president. He built it and gave it to them free. They ain't paying dime for it. He only asked them for the land. They give the land, he built the property and give it to them free. They are
It
not paying
almost like a
dime.
mortgage. It almost like a mortgage. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's almost like a mortgage during
I
turbulent time.
think
That's how they
yeah,
pay.
total time, total time, yeah, like a
Yeah,
mortgage
you pay for
stuff.
certain amount of
Yes,
years. Maybe they will say,
yes,
okay, this house you will pay 5,000
yeah.
or 10,000, but you will pay every month this amount, every month this amount until this amount of years can be absorbed. Then you take the property. That's how it was done. But this
That is
case
not
with this,
that is not happening right now. Is that what you're saying?
yes, all of
It's
the
not
housing
happening
units,
right now. It's for free.
if for
Why are you
free,
talking?
all of the housing units that president we have built, those thousands of housing units, they're not taking dime. Me, I against that.
You know that a housing unit around the RIA highway there, people are buying it right now
It is
from
not
government.
the pro-poor housing unit, my brother. Let's understand. I made it clear. I said the pro-poor housing unit. That housing unit you're talking about is a company that work in collaboration with the government that try to come and do business.
Yeah, they are working in collaboration
Okay,
with
so
the
it is not a
NHA,
pro-poor housing
yeah,
unit.
with the
That one is a
NHA.
company. You see, that's how
Yeah.
people go with misinformation in the public because they don't know how to differentiate these things.
But the
The
government
pro-poor
make
housing unit built by Lace. Excuse me, let
it
me give you the information. The
is not
pro-poor
giving.
housing unit built by Lace is different from the RIA project that in collaboration with for construction company that work with the Liberian Housing Authority. They came
That
to
why
do business.
I'm telling you, the government makes it to appear that they are the one that taking that initiative because the
It's a
information on
it's a it's a joint venture project in collaboration with a company and the government brought our company to Liberia. Disregard that.
So on what basis the government brought it in the country?
Is to help
Same
to
basic
build
as
infrastructure
the
to
same
buttress
basic, the
our
same basic as your old estate.
Okay.
okay to
Okay,
help
the same
buttress the
basic as
infrastructure.
your old
How
estate.
do we
Yeah.
ask those kind of question, man, my brother? We need to move forward. How can you say so when you're president, you will not convene companies that want to build infrastructure where your people will be doing, like just say pay because the housing the building now to RIA will be like pay. You can pay cash. For example, they can say 15,000, whatever. You can pay 10,000 and pay the balance 5,000 later, or you pay 5,000 and pay the balance 10,000 later. It will help your population. So it's
So,
a
But
buttress
that's
to
so Mr.
Dakpannah
Brown,
Bay
investment.
Estate and all those estates. That's what the government did on the Tubman
Okay,
time. That's what
so
they
so
did.
it
when
will not.
they appear that they are the one that taking the initiative to become problem.
Of course, no, 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 because the government took that initiative. Tubman took that initiative. His government was credited for that also. You know
So,
why?
but
Because listen, wait, let me just explain something here, my brother, before you go on. Look, even in this America. Do you know why you get loans? They don't even know you from Timbuktu. The government backs it, including your student loan. The government, based on the government interest in it, is the reason why you get those loans. If you have a good government, they will do that for their citizens because they know the citizens do not have the equity or any kind of resources. So they need something that the bank or whatsoever can go, you know what? Let's trust this person is going to be able to pay it back. Okay. Outside of that, then nobody's ever going to pay. By the way, that's how you build our economy. If you do not do that in Liberia, if everybody have to wait to get money before they can buy a car, nobody's going to get anywhere. You have to be willing to take some kind of chance, and the government has to be able to support that. Thank you, my brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. You see, that's why sometimes when I listen to the guys from the opposition, I can laugh because they don't scratch smart points. If the government building thousands of pro housing units for the poor people that are giving out free, and another company come that they want to build housing unit in collaboration with the government, but they coming for business purpose, but they will be giving it to our citizens to pay bit by bit, has a buttress to the pro housing unit, and you see that and say, oh, the government making it to appear like they the one. Yes, they are the one because they attracted the investment in it. If they could refuse it.
They have to put some collateral down. They have to give money and back into it.
Other thing, they learn that all these things. So our argument shouldn't be about whether the government is or the government. The first thing, where if you are patriotic Liberian, you will be commending the government first of all for providing thousands of pro housing units free to the Liberian people. Thousands. Then before the company that come that building on the RRA that will not be free, but you will pay bit by bit. That's we're moving somewhere. So when it comes to infrastructure, with housing, the government make a mark. When it comes to road infrastructure, the government also making a mark. We have a lot of feeder roads that are being paved. Then we have also national roads that are being paved.
The feeder roads that can be consumed by water during the rainy season.
Your own.
But excuse me.
Your own day well.
Excuse me, my brother. Wait, this interview. We come here to disingenuously criticize something, or you guys asking questions for us to give input that is realistic. Because I've seen you criticizing like somebody who just want to see, like you see in progress, but you just want to make it look ugly because you just don't like it. Is that what we came here for? Dakpannah. That feeder road, was it there before? The people, excuse me, the people in Clara time, they ever had road, they were walking in a swamp for their children to go to school. Today they have road. Granted that the rainy season time, sometimes it gets flooded, but it's better than it was. When you come there, listen to me. When your government come there, you know what you do? When your government come there in the future, they austere road. Then we'll be improving. At least let them be using that one. They move from swamp. They come to road where sometimes when water comes, they will be there, no problem.
No,
when you come there,
they can just build some nice drainages.
You're making
so it will improve. What you need to say, if you want to criticize that kind of thing, look, the road, yes, we commend you on this road, but people need to improve with respect to drainage. Then you speaking like a patriotic like you.
That's how you
speak. When you say, oh, the road where water can, when you speaking like somebody who just want to see people progress and diminish it. That's how a patriotic Liberians should sound. It is wrong. We shouldn't be doing that to our country. It is wrong. At least you appreciate that your father went out, he brought you food, maybe Indomie, maybe you were expecting pizza, then you say, oh, that only Indomie. You can't thank him for the Indomie he brought, and tell him, even God hate hypocrites. God who made us hate hypocrites. You must always give thanks to God for the little he gave you so that he can bless you to get more. So it's wrong. We shouldn't play our politics like that. Our politics should be based on critical analysis. Oh yeah, they roll your bill. You didn't build it. That's a good thing, progress, but you didn't build it with drainage. So next time, let the people see how they can build it properly with drainages. Then you're making sense.
Or criticize the drainage.
Let's go. I'm concerned about the Clarendon to Do community, because I remember during Mrs. Sirleaf's time, Robert Sirleaf, when he constructed the, let's say when he rehabilitated the football stadium there, there was
Papi,
no
Papi,
construction work there.
Papi. So you are the one that already, but I really want for to give Mr. Broad chance. Let him lead his six how they call it, state progress.
You don't want to interrupting. That's why your wife
And
keep
all of my
interrupting.
6 progress that I named 3. None of them can be accurate. It's something that you have seen and you know.
We get problem with the first 3 already, so let him just lead the basics so that we
Are you having problem with the first 3? I don't have problem even when you have problem with the first 3, but your problem doesn't necessarily mean it's not existing. You know it's existing.
It is existing.
So your problem is just a personal problem.
It is
Who
substandard.
don't know the housing unit? Like for example, who don't know the proper, even the invisible part.
Mr. Bro, let's move to the 4th one.
Yes, I'm coming. Even the invisible park that was built, all the houses that were around there was broken down and built and given to the people free. So these are things that we're talking about. Now,
the
about 1
or so houses.
Yeah.
And I know well, they said they couldn't.
Guys, I want to get a 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. So we move on.
Go ahead.
Okay, now the 4th one. The 4th one we brought what we call equity within the civil service.
You said equity? Are you speaking of equity?
Yes. Meaning equal pay for equal qualification and equal positions.
The one that led to the
harmonization.
The harmonization?
Yes.
The harmonization that is affecting the Liberian people.
Hey, give me a chance, my brother. That's why you're not giving chance.
Come on, man.
The harmonization will affect people, and people will also rejoice. Let me give you data. Oh God. If you give me a chance, I will explain.
Go ahead.
Under no condition that harmonization will take place in a society that people will not be affected. But one good thing, the good they will do is other people will benefit and will bring that kind of equal pay for equal job. Let's take, for example, the harmonization, you, Collie, you was a director at the Ministry of Finance. You were making 3,000 United States dollars. Bro, I was director with the same qualification. I was at the Ministry of Transport. I was making 500. When they harmonize our pay, you and I made 1,515. You think you will be happy? You will be disenchanted. I will be happy that I get 1,500. But guess what about money issue? People who money increase, they don't cause noise. People who money reduce, they're the one who cause noise. In the harmonization, we have more people that benefited than the people who never benefited. Or I can say benefit, in fact, who were reduced because normally they shouldn't be taking that kind of pay, that salary disparity. You and me cannot be having the same position in government. So that harmonization brought us to equilibrium wherein we save enough money for these developmental initiatives that you see around with the little that we took from them, that what you see we're doing. So that system we put in place, we hope that it remains for years to come. In fact, because of the salary disparity that was today, when some of those people's salary reduced, they felt disenchanted because they don't used to it. But as the years go by, they will get used to it. And when people coming in the system, new people, they will know, say, oh, when director down there, director to the place will get the same qualification, will make the same money, it will become a system that people will get used to and will live by it. We'll not have people coming from different places. Maybe you come from America, or you come from Europe, or you come from somewhere the president favor you, the director, or your nephew favor you, who is a minister. You and the man are director, but you making 3,000, other men making 500, but you're performing the same function. So that was a perfect system we put in place. It hurts some people, yes, but it's a system that when we live by, it will bring stability in our governance cycle and even be reflected into the private sector in the future. That's the 4th aspect.
So for the 4th one, just before we move on, for the 4th one, instead of you solving problem, it has created serious problem. Just so you know, it has created serious problem.
Every problem you're solving when it comes to money, people whose salary reduced with 3 days in Chanta is normal. But time will come, they will get over it.
Okay.
But we did it for the overall good of the nation
Okay.
and other people. So it's normal.
Sheldon, do you have comment to that?
You go ahead. You go. I'll show it.
All right. So let's move on to the fifth one.
You are right.
Yeah. The fifth one.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth one, we did enough in exposure and investment into the young people with respect to coming to governance. We give them more responsibility to the young people. We invested much into the young people. In fact, we are the government that invested much into the young people since we entered into our modern democratic dispensation from 2005.
When you talk about, Mr. Brown, when you talk about investment into the young people, are you talking about academically or those one that were privileged to are getting appointed by the
Both
president?
academic and those that were privileged to work in government.
I mean, let's compare the number of ministers or assistant ministers that maybe were privileged to have advanced their academic sojourn. Do you know some of them? I know.
It's not an issue when we're talking about ministers and people that.
Yeah, I can name some of them. Hold on, my brother. I can name
Okay.
a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
Go down the list. Let's start with the highest, the man that was just on your show. Okay, Alex. Okay, let's talk about people like what's the kid Ba? What's the name Ba? And then there's another one that's over at the Ministry of Justice called he's running prison.
Eddie Tarawale.
Tarawale. Let's talk about I think there's about 30 or 40 doctors that should be coming back sometime this year.
All of them young people.
Okay, you can go down the line. Trust me.
So with that, I also want to reflect your mind to students that were already on scholarships in foreign Morocco, the United States, and other places. And this government refused to pay their school fees. Some of them got stranded.
Let the man finish your thing. We'll come to that. You talking about the man talking about what they have done. We'll talk about why you're started and you did not.
My brother, you see that how their arguments can be. Sometimes it can be a little bit. Sometimes I mean that's why you see our brother God talk about system, which I agree with him when when I was discussing about the hospitals. When systems are not in place, it's hard for things to continue. The other government arranged. Nobody knew the arrangement of the government come. They don't even know. So these are systems.
Continue with now, right? I guess they were nuts.
Yeah, I'm coming, my brother. So one thing for sure that you talk about of those scholarships, every scholarship have time limit. So maybe some of those people are there, okay, they have time limit at a time. You don't just be paying people school fees all the time. No, you have time limit. So sometimes some of these things, like for example, somebody was acting. So it is not how it goes, the way you will perceive it. As an ordinary person outside of the government circle, you just think, oh, government abandon people. No, not how it goes. Now, let me go.
My brother, first of all, if it was salary, let me just buttress what you said. If it was scholarship, that time should have already been taken care of by the government of Liberia and the host country, because it was a scholarship set for 4 years, let's say. And by the way, again, talking about system, if those salaries were paid for within the budget, and this government came and took it out of the budget, then we can all scream. But again, let's be honest. All these scholarships they talk about, you take your girlfriend, your family, your brother and sister there. Then when you get out of office, then you want people to know those people there. Come on, let's be honest.
Is it not happening in Georgia government?
But doesn't mean it's right. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't mean it's right.
It's happening. These things can even happen now, but that doesn't mean it's right.
Not right. Doesn't mean it's right, but we need to discuss that. It's not right.
We should also be able to also look at why it's happening within the CDC government with that.
So exactly, and that's a different show. We can do that. Let the man finish.
So where are we? That was the fifth, right?
That was the fifth, yes. Let's move
Thank
on.
you. So you see, we have things, and you don't even you these are things that you will notice and you will see in our society. Then the sixth one is electricity expansion in our country.
That one probably coming flogged then. That one coming flogged then so hard they won't know.
I mean, guys, give me a chance. Guys, hold on. I will give you time to speak. Let Mr. Bro in, and I come out with my counter reaction there at the end. I'll bring you in.
We have today, Liberia have many Liberians are benefiting from electricity than ever before in our country history, especially with the signing of the new the new contract that we took.
CLSG.
The West Africa Power Pool.
Yeah. So today, when we expanding on that, many people right now in Mosorado getting electricity in other counties like Cape Mount, Bombay, and other places, Grand Bassa. And the only thing we need to do now is to distribute the current to most of the counties. They are looking for partnership with private investors that, for example, you call it now, you can go in your county or your community, you can carry a company there and ask LEC to give you current, and you will now distribute the current to customers. They pay, then you just get LEC or cut from A. So that's how I do it. So we have built that area in extensively. We have achieved in that area. The only thing now is the distribution of the current, but the current are available, and many Liberians now are getting connected on a daily basis.
All right, very good. With that, it was something that you inherited from the past government, Mrs. Sully. Mrs. Sully initiated the West Africa Power Pool, which started from
Papi, let me hold you there, Papi, please. Mr. Bro and other guy, I better to leave. I have an emergency somewhere.
Okay.
But brother, yeah, Mr. Bro, I hope to hear from you soon, because we will compare notes. Even though I disagree with you on many of your assertions, but we need to compare notes.
Mr. Bro, you put it.
I will do that. No problem. You are welcome, my brother. I will get contact with you through Japan.
For your friend and man, I'm talking to you, God.
I will get to you through Dakpannah.
Hold there, God's boss, and living in a civilized suburban era.
Don't mind. Okay, Baba.
So basically, like I said, Mr. Bro, in the first place, the West Africa Power Pool was initiated by Mr. Sully government. That it started in Grand Jida and Maryland, as well as Nimba. I remember Jungle Water, that is run by Mr. Frotoma, was one of the private institutions that were helping with the supplying up to Bon County. So with that,
but then why did you spend that much money on the on your, how you call it, on your dam?
Let me address it. Granted that you are right. The West African Power Pool was initiated by Madam Salif government. You are right. After spending hundreds of millions of dollars to face our hydro,
pool,
that was a fiasco. So you are right. But they see West African Power Pool that they only initiated it and left us in $7 million debt that we pay. So because of the $7 million debt, they cut off the supply prior to ending. Yeah. Then we got to come back and renegotiate the deal by paying for the people outstanding debt that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf then hold them. So Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government were almost like a smoke screen, introducing things that they don't end. But we must commend them. But we had to pay $7 million debt that Ellen left the country in, that make them to cut off that supply. After we pay them, then we sign a new contract that we'll be paying them now regularly. So we are paying them regularly. We even give them advance and all, so that we can expand the electricity, because we believe electricity is one of the key, almost like road connectivity that can. Thank you. It's a security, and it can buttress, it can boom economic growth.
Yep.
So we see that as something very important. So we pay the debt. So with respect to your argument was initiated by Ellen Johnson, that's truth. That was truth. The only mistake they made was to leave us in that kind of debt. That money now we could have used that $7 million to do other development. So these are some of the delay in the development when people made all kind of mistakes. And one error also, they almost $300 million they spent on that dam. They shouldn't have. It was a total disaster. Do you know that our neighboring country, Guinea, spent only 200 million on their dam, and that dam is very powerful. And we spent 300 million and it can't even supply Mosorado. Are you kidding me?
My man,
So
we
it
know
was,
that money didn't stay in Liberia, man.
yeah, so it was a disaster. So we commend them for initiating the D, but we now building on the D. So we respect that. So that the 16, if we have many other things we can talk about, even for example, one thing that you should commend the leader today. Ellen said that you bring down the executive mansion, you were going to build it in 6 months. But during her first term, her first year, in
Yeah.
2006, just a little portion of that mansion got burned. Whether it was a settle or not, nobody knew. She never, from 2006, she never renovated that mansion until she left from power. President, we have made only 3 years, and he got the mansion fixed. That alone is like showing an example of a serious leader. That when you give that leader the chance, they can make significant progress. So these are things we should look at. We appreciate criticism, but let our criticism be done in a patriotic manner. I don't know whether you listened to Akon recently about the way we branding Africa. The way we put news out, it hurt our continent and our country. When our leaders are making progress, we can criticize them and also criticize them constructively. Not that the criticizing them in a kind of diminishing way. That let the person now just say, okay, let people can appreciate. They may just be here and do anything. We'll not be making progress. So these are the 6 major things I just named. And all those 6 things I named, you yourself will attest to it that it is not just something I just talk vague. I can even name the area too we have faults. If you want me to go there, I can name where we have faults.
No, leave that alone. They can figure it out at home.
Okay.
They're worried about a man's shoe.
So, Mr. Bro, thank you very much. So now we move on to some other training issues that particularly, what do you make of this quote unquote?
Hey man, my brother, before you go to, are you accepting Mr. Burr premise and all of the facts that he laid out to you?
Like, I mean, he named some of those things and we came with counter argument about it. Not
right.
all. That's some of
the reason why I asked that is,
I will not already come out to say everything I named. It is a fact. So you not expect me to say that. But people watching, they can also be the judge.
Right. What I was saying, the reason why I said this is, again, let's be different, right? In the sense that we are Liberians. Again, the stuff that they are doing, the tangibles that this brother had laid out here, are things that they have done that the ordinary Liberian person can truly see, correct? I mean, we have to be blind to not see those. But also, the issue, and that's what I told my brother, don't even say it. The issues that we know that are bad in the closet, it just so happened they are gifted that nobody wants to mention those things. Because those things are truly the reason why this government could have even done 1,000 more than what this brother just laid out. If we had just taken care of some of those issues in the first 3 years, So again, go ahead. I just want to give you a hard time, man. You know your opposition. When I get a chance to put in a corner, I gotta say.
I'm not going there with you today. I'm not opposition either. I try to be as possible as I can so that we all can have a fun show. Okay, Mr. Brown, like you indicated, we've been following a couple of other issues, particularly there was this startling revelation just before we move on to the other training issues. Startling revelation by your current Secretary General, Mr. Jefferson Tamakoji, who were quizzed by some journalists during a press conference. He indicated that there are plans to go into collaboration or negotiation with the Alternative National Congress of Alexander Cummings. Do you see that as a factual information, or he was being sacky about it?
You see, if you have not seen a very serious young man in Liberia, you shouldn't take Koji for a joke. I worked with Koji. He and myself worked together from the high school union days in 2004 all the way to 2005 when he was serving as president for the high school union of the Republic of Liberia. Koji is a very serious-mannered young man. He doesn't just talk. In fact, that's why you see many people in the opposition always going after him. What Koji said is something that we are working on. And that ANC, we will bring them on board. If we will not bring all of them on board, we'll split them into two. We'll teach them what they did in the collaborating political party, what we are about to do to them.
But Mr.
We,
Bra,
yeah.
Mr. Bra, in less than 24 hours, ANC. But yeah, that's the same thing. In less, come again.
Allow him to end with his.
That's the same thing he's saying. I just want to throw something here. In less than 24 hours, the ANC came up and debunked that statement coming from Jefferson Koji. They said they have nothing at all intention to join the CDC.
Dakpannah is normal. You know, we've been in politics for a very long time. It's normal. You know why it's normal? That those that we are not negotiating with in the ANC, they will look at that from different angles. But we have already split the ANC. We're not waiting for the time for the bomb to explode. ANC will be split into two. We will bring ANC over. In fact, ANC is the offspring of the Congress for Democratic Change. You know who the German that is a good. We will bring ANC. Cummins will get frustrated. Let me tell you something what they're doing to Cummins. You know, sometimes I feel pity for senior man Cummins. You know, people always talk about politics. Politics changed by dispensation. If Cummins was smart, Cummins shouldn't take the trend he's on. There are many ways to convince the Liberian people. You don't convince the Liberian people on the trend. But I will not go in detail to educate them because we want them to still be living in that era. Let them live in that era. I will not go in detail to educate them right now. Let them live in that era. Because they always pretending that they are smart, but in reality, they are dull politically. So let them swim in that era. We will try to educate them during the campaign, what they're supposed to have done. Then at that time we start to expose them, and then the ABBA will be opening so that we can help the other generation to build on that. But ANC will be split into two, even when all of them will not agree.
Like you said, like you said, Mr. Bro, you said ANC is the offspring of
the Congress for Democratic Change.
For which I do remember the convention that was held, and Chairman Rachel Gould lost the convention. May her soul rest in peace. She was even flogged with sand wasted in her head.
Allegedly.
I saw it say allegedly. You know what are you talking about? I saw it. May her soul rest in peace. The way sand in her head. The way sand in her head. So at the end of the day, I mean, how are you going to go by? You be able to break a political party that have quote unquote a millionaire who is the standard bearer.
The millionaire cannot be reached in the government. We are in government. When you were richer than the government, then he's supposed to be like the way he's looking now. You understand me? So nobody can ever be rich in a government. Remember, we are sitting on the country resources. Most of the guys in the opposition are job seekers. When you offer them jobs now, give them concession.
My brother, don't put the secret outside. Leave it. Leave that one.
So let me just leave that.
I mean, okay, just before we move, Dakpannah
go ahead.
Just before we move away, what is CDC major worry the hell of 2023?
Our major worry is for us to not have conflict on the lazy opposition, because we believe when we flog them, that we want to bring some kind of noise. Like we just discovered the arm. That's our major worry.
My brother, the major worry, honestly, no. If you ask me that question, the major worry is CDC getting in its own way.
Yeah, okay. That's one. That's another one.
It is CDC getting in its own way. We just saw what happened with the brother from Legis. Again, you hire people, trust their expertise, and let them do their job. Don't just listen to the people that come to the president and say, Mr. President, everything fine, everything fine. If CDC can stay out of their own way, like even the stuff with Chairman Molu, if CDC can stay out of their own way, there's no way they lose. That's just it.
In fact, losing is totally out of the question as we speak now. Even the opposition, where they were crying for 2023, 2023 have come, we are leading them. They are right now on the defense while we are on the offense. And that how we pressure rather until October. Do you know right now they are confused up to the time they don't even have running mates from the various angles. That running mate thing they will carry all the way to March because of we are now running mates. By that time we'll be late. Then we already dig deeper.
You not get
They
one.
are confused. They don't know what they are doing. Their last restart.
November, no, August.
Yeah.
Around August, so I would name.
Thank you. Their last result that they are hoping on is to cause chaos. And we already discovered that. Thank God we discovered the arms and we're pushing them down towards the war for the international community to see them.
That is our next point. Let me get your perspective. Gus, we'll go like this first. Gus will be the first on this one. Let me
go last on that one because I don't have enough information on that.
All right. So we'll come with you, Mr. Bro. Let me get your perspective on the discovery of arm and ammunition. And information is that this is not the first consignment of arm and ammunition. The reason the Liberian authority got notified because it has been a constant import, or let's say exportation by this individual that was named. And information is that the individual is also alleging that there are hierarchy within the government. If they not come up, he will come out to speak.
Yeah, okay. I don't
no,
have...
No, brother Gus.
Okay, you know what? I'll go.
Okay.
Based on that, I'll go. You know, I'll be honest with you. So, one of the things I would tell any Liberian is this. Those of us that have gone to Liberia almost every year or every couple of years, since 2010, I've been going to Liberia quite frequent. My grandmother's old. I took her back. So I try to go every year or so. One thing we know is this. Again, I knew when I first got this information, everybody tried to turn it into politics, right? But realistically, I cannot sit here knowing what I know from how Liberians from the diaspora act, even Liberians that live on the ground, how they act since the end of our war, and then we started building all these fancy houses and whatnot, and believe that this gun that came was not somebody hustle. When I first saw it, I told most of my friends, I said, listen, I don't think this is a politician that brought gun in to go to a war or anything. If you ask me, I know many of my friends that have transported weapon to that country, like just pistol, dismantle it, one barrel here, that barrel there, that barrel there. You know why they're doing it? To protect themselves. But when I saw that amount of stuff, the first thing I said is, by the way, before we go too far, I want to remind Liberians, this started happening more and more when we got rid of Viva or Viva, whatever they call it, right?
Yeah, Viva. Mm-hmm.
Those guys were very, very credible. Because my father used to send containers. My father was one of those people that probably, I don't know how many Liberians that left this country. They've been in this country for 40 some more years. When Ellen won, they went back to Liberia. They took all of their resources. My father took over 300K to Liberia, try to start business and do all those things. It didn't work out. Okay? It did not work out. Thank God he came back. He's back on his feet and doing well. So what I'm trying to say is when Viva was there, I remember because my dad used to ship cars and all kinds of stuff. And I remember when those guys used to come and do inspections. Liberians did not like those guys inspecting because they would open every barrel, okay, and check the content of it. Then over the years, we transition to this to new people supposing that they can do X-ray, blah 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 blah. But I always tell Liberians this: the X-ray is a machine. There is an operator. If that operator chooses to play blind eye to that X-ray, does it matter? It does not matter. So when I saw those things, the first thing I said to myself is, as like in, opposition people, oh, we are then doing this to this and that. Why would President we are bring those things on him? Why would he want to do that? With all the goodwill he's getting, the man coming to America here in a few months. Actually, I think it's in February. He's coming here soon.
Okay? I understand a March.
In
March.
Why would he be doing those things?
I don't even know if you don't have the time to register because.
So my other CDC people say, oh, is the opposition? No, this is somebody. I truly believe this ammunition and stuff has something to do with an individual that had this as a hustle, and they got caught, and that's what happened. If he asked me, it has no politics, but we should all be ashamed of this. We should all be critical of this. We should all be worried about people trying to ship this amount of guns to our country, especially the state of Liberia. That's we should all criticize. But who did it? But this is an individual by himself doing this.
Just before you come in, what do you think is responsible, or what is the motive of an individual to be able to carry a heavy machinery gun?
Okay. The motive is most of these people believe that's how they protect themselves. And then the other thing is armed robbery. I'll be honest with you. You also have had a lot of people leaving this country that go back because they were deported and all those things, right? I do not think it's about how you call it. I do not think this is about politics. I don't think another politician.
But let me hold you right there. Let me hold you on that point right there. What do you make of the police inspector general statement that those guns can destabilize the country?
Oh, of course they can. Again, they can destabilize the country. But for me to accuse somebody, I just got a text from a friend. For me to accuse somebody of such a thing, I have to see enough evidence. Because you know what? I support President Weah, and I get upset when people accuse him and say, oh, President Weah brought gun in because of election so they can scare people. I got enough sense that this American government, people that I work for here, they trust me to work with millions of dollar equipment. And you're telling me now, because it's my country and politics, that I don't benefit out of. Nobody, I know some of the top people in government. Now, one day I've gotten 1 cent for them or asking for 1 cent. Matter of fact, when I go there, I take presents for their kids because I have associated myself with them as friends and relatives. Okay? So for me, I cannot tell anybody on here. I'm not a policeman. If the police have enough evidence that Mr. Cummings or some other politician brought those guns in, then I will accuse them of that. But as of now, me logically thinking, if somebody hustle, and however they were getting their hustle done, they got busted. If their hustle was to provide it for opposition, then they got busted. But right now, the individual whose name is on it, as we know, is not a political leader. So we go from there. Thank you.
Mr. Brother God, before we move on, but you haven't sent me and Papi our Christmas our gift yet. So I will not your relative too.
Hello. The man's a renegade to us. He take out to be renegade.
Okay. Yeah, he take things on the government official there we are here. Yeah, you say nothing here.
We receive nothing for you. Then you say so take at least they're gonna go to go.
I said the children. Okay.
Yeah, but we're cheering too.
You know some person behind me, Jenna.
On the other side. Okay. You know, the first thing I must condemn the issue of the guns. It is not good for our society. We shouldn't be going through that. We shouldn't have people bringing guns in our country because we have a very evil past on guns. And those who say that maybe is designed by we are maybe for political reason, President, we are, I think they are in error. Historically, let me give them some historical fact of people of Liberian always denying things that relating to these things in history that became reality. Based on history, we were not alive, but during the 1980 coup, there was a same rumor from 1979 about the Red Riot that they overlooked. When our rumors can say, oh, from the Red Riot, there was a coup in the making that based the president Tobo. Then the coup, the Liberians say, oh, it was Tobo that was trying to design it because of why he still want to have widespread this, that, this. Why the men were telling them to go back to the source. In reality, 1980, a group of ignorant soldiers came and then killed Tobo. Then it went to, when that ignorant soldiers took office, it came to other coup. But one of the other major coup was in 1985. When people say, oh, Kuwamba came from across, it came from America, it came across the border to several women were coming, cool. They say, oh, do a designing strategy because you want to kill more people, most of the opponents are against it. Truly, Kuwamba came, he attempted overthrowing, though it didn't work. He got executed. 1990, also 1989, when Chancellor came to Cote d'Ivoire to come there, they say, oh, people training in Libya, they want to bring war. They say, oh, do a designing strategy because he want to execute his opponent. 1989, they say, oh, not no rebel that do doing things. From there, they walk him on, it choked us to the extent we couldn't go anywhere now. It become a nightmare. 2001, going to 2002, when Taylor said, oh, there was a rebel that was coming from Guinea.
No, 97.
No, I'm not talking about 97. I crossed over 97. 97, there was no war. 97, we have our election.
Was it 98 when Taylor had
98, 99, yeah.
was just Rick Monroe fought on Johnson Road between Roosevelt Johnson. That one I'm not counting it.
Yeah, but 99, the government announced there was a dissidence in Lofa, 99.
In Lofa, 1999, Liberians said, oh, the hard, though Socrates named them when they were in US, they say, oh, the hard war became popular, alleged. Oh, the alleged war. Taylor designing it because of why he wants to perpetrate himself in power. Taylor wanted to take them to the front line in the helicopter when they say, oh, Taylor was a tyrant. Taylor said, go see. Maybe your thing are lying. We live overlooking it until they claim on the city and we're experiencing enough mortar. Today we discover they're telling them, they say, oh, that we are so Liberians have the tendency of not
folks
learning.
Folks are saying that's a scare tactics from the angle of the government. You guys are fair, so you guys want to put a blame on the opposition, make the opposition look ugly because you guys know that you guys will fail. They will defeat your council 23, which is October 10th. So you guys trying to play games.
There is no.
Let me tell you. Let me end my war. Let me tell you, that's why I'm giving you historical facts. For me, I don't just talk things. I'm telling you historical facts where the same Liberian said it was the same tactics and the tactic become reality and they suffer it. So
Mr. Bro, why would somebody want to bring war into the country and then they shipping arm in the city itself? Most times they go into the butchers.
No, listen. The reason is simple. The dispensation of using your neighboring border is no longer existing. Things are changing. So that dispensation, the technique people use in the 90s, in the early 2000s, cannot work now. Because every country protecting their border because of the protection of the ECOWAS something. That's why you see, even in West Africa now, you see people only conducting coup within the country. Coup. People not using border again to attack. So look at the scenario in the dispensation. So they decided to use that lapse because they know there's no enough security. They think that the security are on ground, they are not sophisticated enough to detect. People smuggle the arm for evil purpose. They are allowed. Let me tell you, the current oppositions or political opposition leaders we have in our country are too desperate for power.
You need to bring God's back.
Yeah.
They are too desperate for power, and they can do anything. Even in our political disco, the way they sound. Can you imagine? The entire sovereign protest, we discovered gun. We want a Cummins bodyguard. He had a gun. It never took long before we discovered the arm. We're not accusing anyone now. Investigation is going on so that you cannot undermine the investigation. But these things, we Liberians have to be very careful and be vigilant. We should be our own eyes. When you see people doing this thing, tell someone. Because when war come back in our country, my brother, nobody will come again to keep our peace. Because every country is not handling their own problem. And we'll go back for the next 1 million years. The little
Mr.
progress we
Bro,
are making now, let us continue on our path.
Mr. Bro, don't you think that this government is endangering itself? Because the fact that you got a lawmaker who is a representative can come and talk about threatening the government to make the government better, to give the president we have a better government and so forth. And you have somebody who escaped the country and make claims on the government, spoke on international wire that the government were after him, wanted to kill him. And then recently he came back into the country, untouchable, and he's there. The government hasn't called him in for investigation, nothing of such. So don't you think with all of those things going on, the government is trying to endanger themselves?
No. They first of all are against people not going by the rule of law. People should be
Mhm,
punished when they commit crime. But from
mhm,
the genesis of our discussion and what I told you about the mentality of the population, something that how the leaders govern. Now we have a gullible society where people are polarized that when you take the person they support, they feel that you're going after them. They didn't know the law aspect of it. Then you have, in fact, that's what I always tell people. I said, God brought George Weah at a rightful time where he's very tolerant. He accepts all kind of nonsense. Sorry for that language that other leaders cannot accept. So I don't think we are in danger. We're just trying to maintain our peace where we just tolerating people. But time will come, we will be rebuffed when other leaders that will come in the future. But I think at this time when we have no peacekeepers in our country, we're controlling our own security. I think God gave us a rightful leader who will be tolerant and to tolerate most of these things so that we can cross that other dispensation where people will get educated and get to know that I think we need to leave this and graduate to another state. Excuse me. So
yeah.
I think we are not in danger. Instead, we are managing our fragile peace.
All right.
But before you come in, I got information. I don't. It's not authentic, but I thought to ask you. There's a rumors that this brother who brought the arm, he brought the arm in the country in consultation with some government ministers, and now he is saying that he didn't do it on his own. So
Eh,
why the government officials know that they are the one encouraged this brother to bring an army to the country, and then now they're not talking, and then the government making it as a whole lot of big issue.
no. First of all, use the word alleged because nobody
Hmm.
accusing anyone now until the investigation. We shouldn't undermine the investigation. It's normal. Let me tell you something.
Mhm.
When people, based on the investigation, our brother will talk. You didn't read to
Okay.
the serial part yet.
But he tells him to talk. If government officials, some of the
Yes,
government officials that he talked
it is
about,
not. It is not
they don't
also.
come up.
Listen, my brother, my
If they don't
brother,
come up, he will
Ja-
speak, and perhaps it will be
Japana.
bad for the government.
Japan, it can never be bad for the government. We are in politics. Somebody can be working with you and they undermining you. It is not government that bought a gun. That individual who in Liberia bought a gun, they can be in government, they can be private citizens. So even for example, if allegedly an official in government bought sponsor the purchase of gun to come in the country, that person can be working with you while they planning different thing against you. So it is not a strange thing, even if it happens. So the fact of the matter here is it is not the government that bought a gun, but individuals, citizens, there's something about a gun, whether from the opposition, whether from the private sector, whether from the government angle, the investigation will reveal that truth at the end of the day. So we are waiting for the
Okay.
investigation before we can take talk on it. But the only thing I want to say as a citizen of Liberia, a patriotic one, is
Mm.
I condemn it and we shouldn't tolerate such a thing in our society. We should condemn it because our society needs peace. With peace, we can make progress. Today, we are making progress. Yes, we may be having a high expectation, but we are not like we used to be. We are making progress and the war ended. It's better that we keep making that progress. After certain years, we reach up to that standard, then to go back to war, to carry our country back to another thousand a year. Come on, the war that happened. See how today we're fighting hard to settle our country. So I condemn it, but I cannot sit here to accuse anyone. I will wait for the investigation, both from the U.S. angle and our Liberian angle. And then those that will be found in the process, we all will advocate for them to be prosecuted.
All right. Dakpannah, just I do have some I'm trying to locate my charger. So guys, please,
Okay.
if I have it, yeah,
Okay. If you having a drop, oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Bro, I thought to bring this to your
Yeah,
attention. You are a member of the CDC. I know that. We all were. We were in the. We were in MC there, and I can remember you try to you try to recruit me as well to the CDC back in those days. You know, and there was, and I think at a certain point in time you must have had a meeting at the CDC headquarters and other thing. But the fact of the matter here is that there's a former minister who was fired purporting to be a member of the CDC and threatening to dismantle the CDC, going after supporters of the CDC, even doing everything in his power to get a lot of supporters of the CDC out of a popular platform. And forgetting to know that this man that he's trying to go after, this man assisted him when he came to the States, when he was kicking out, this man hosted him because of the relationship they had way back in Burma. But today he's attacking this man, and he even told somebody who spoke with me in confidence that way back he said that the guy who's supporting the government on that popular talk show is not competent to be on that show. So because of that, now every time he goes on that show, he always try to attack this man, and now the brother is saying that he would dismantle you guys. What do you have to say? And I'm talking about Eugene Fagon, former deputy minister of information.
usually Fagon cannot even dismantle me here because I'm well qualified and competent, and he when they get shot more, that people don't mind him.
Hmm.
In fact, let me tell you something. An individual cannot dismantle the CDC. Eugene Fagon is an example of an ingrate.
Hmm.
Let me tell you something. In life,
But Mr. Brown, instead he's saying that you guys, the CDC is ungrateful. You guys are the ones who are ingrate because he
no
supported
problem.
President Weah. He campaigned for President Weah. He was the one that made President Weah to be where he is today. But as last time I checked, the whole 2017, when election ongoing, he was in an African stove on a
Thank you.
blackboard.
That's what I was coming to. So that's what I was coming to, Dakpannah. Let me tell you
Hmm.
something. You see, Eugene, first of all, he never had voting right. He never voted for VI. He didn't talk.
Hmm.
We appreciated him. That's why we made him deputy minister. But based on his unprofessional behavior, he was sacked. Even some of us took to the social media. We even went to private inboxes of our leaders that, oh, you're bring Fagon back. But no
Hmm.
knew they sacked the man for a reason. Within no time, he showed his attitude. Let me tell you, Dakpannah, there are
Hmm.
thousands of Liberians or citizens that sacrifice for this party that they don't have work. First of all, you don't enter into politics because you want job all the time. Tomorrow,
Hmm.
when you get a job, then you start to buy more of the people. We been in the CDC since 2005. Fagon been in CDC when Sargon just came. Some of us today we still be in the CDC. We are not working in government. You think why we stay there? So Fagon there, they are not real revolutionaries. They are opportunists, greatest seeker. Right now he's confused. See him disgracing care. That is a classic example of an ingrate.
Hmm.
Devil help him. So what Fagon doing? Fagon only want to eat. He's an envious big brother who he very envious, and all kind of people cannot succeed. They don't even make decisions that will make them to make progress. Because let me tell you something. Every decision you make, you have to be consistent. That how people trust you. But you think the way he's doing now today, you think opposition say can trust him to bring him on board. Opposition know that they mayor when you bring him, they will only use it. So Fagon is spoiling his political future. He had a very great future, but he damaging it. So he's an ingrate. And that man, I cannot give him credence. Fagon able to dismantle even me a year before you talk about CDC. He doesn't have the sophisticated, he just gets sharp more big brother. So we don't pay attention to that kind of man. Let him continue. Do you know how many people, sophisticated people, come after George Weah that they succeed, that he they want? With plenty AA that they consider here in the country. Look at one of the envious thing he did. You in the country as a former a man from America,
Like,
you
I
came in the
mean,
country, you
yeah,
start criticizing, saying that he was using smoking car. Car are smoking. You come from America, even when you come in the country and your car is smoking again, so you ain't able to order for car from America to bring it down to use that as a private vehicle to go to work. So these are people who are not serious. They are not serious to help to develop our country. They are only there for themselves. Then he saw then eating number eating, he said he eating lobster. So as a human being, you able to buy lobster to eat? That's alien statement. So I don't give credence to big brother and senior brother Fagon. He really disappointed me. I thought he was a serious man. None he's a very unserious man. He doesn't know what he wants in life. He's an ingrate.
at the same time, like you, like Mr. Broad, like you indicated earlier on, people struggle with the
Let me.
CDC
Are you
and
there?
like,
Yeah, go ahead,
hello.
Papi Land. Go ahead, Papi. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like you said, people struggle with the CDC, and you make specific reference to your very self. And Eugene Fagon is on record of always talking for people, specifically making mention of people who fought for the revolution and they are far away from the revolution that they fight for today. Like, for example, particularly at the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs, and Tourism, you have like Bwaka Fofana. I remember Bwaka Fofana. We all used to be the capital. On numerous occasions, I said we are will be one of the worst thing to ever happen to Liberia if we have become president. But guess what? He's a deputy minister for technical services at the Ministry of Information. And those are things that Eugene speak on. Don't you think it's unfair to Eugene, the statement that
No,
you just made?
no, it's not unfair. First of all, we are government. Somebody can criticize you yesterday and still be your ally today. We are government, we're governing Liberians. We can take any qualified Liberian, whether you're opposition or not, as long as you're competent to do the work. We can't govern for CDC or CDCs only. So far, going first of all, he's not even speaking from a critical point. He just allow more people who talk and envious of his friends when they are making progress and type of person that cannot make progress. President Weah is the
But
president of the Republic of Liberia and for Liberians and can hire any Liberian, whether you're opposition or not, as long as you pledge allegiance to work in line with a agenda, you will be employed.
all right, brother God, you want to
Yeah,
come in?
yeah. Let me just come in again to my brother's point. You know, this is what happens to your point when people are doing all of these political running around just because of themselves. Okay. See, the reason why after 270 something years we are where we are today, we have not done the basic things that progressive countries do. Everything they do in this country, people do it because they think they will be affected. Because they think they may be affected, they put in laws, they put in system, they put in mechanisms so that in the event that they are affected, it will protect them. When you look at a justice system here, the reason why it's the way it is, so when the poor man go to court, he's able to have some kind of a fair representation. You look at employment. The people that will say, oh, we should only employ CDCs. So when CDC lose power, all of those people are no longer Liberian. They lose their Liberian passport. Look, man, That's beneath us. We cannot think like that. When you want to grow Liberia, you need to grow Liberia for every single person. Again, when I first came here, I was giving my brother a hard time about some of the statement that he made earlier about why nurses in the hospital will be talking stuff about people and will not be, you're worried they're going to inject you. If you pay them well, you will attract the brightest nurses and doctors and clinicians. But guess what? They will live in your community. They will pay more taxes. Their children will be well-mannered citizens and all of those things. But we don't want to do those things. And as long as our politics is going to continue to be like this, like my brother rightfully stated, it was a shame to watch my brother Kev and Eugene on Spoon. To his point, I can disagree with somebody, but to go low like they were going, to say the things that you say, it says a lot about that individual. And sometimes you have to be afraid of that individual. Because if I am only your friends when we agree, again, please don't consider Gus Coleman your friend. Because you know what? We would check out. Yeah, Lofa Julius on here watching. Lofa is a young brother of mine. He
Definitely.
and I would talk in the back. You would see all kind of nonsense. When he try to cross the line, I would tell him, Lofa, we don't do that. First of all I tell him is, I'm going to take you in the society bush. You hear the man in Lofa Julius. I know where I meant from. Okay? We don't do those things. Even in this country, you don't do that. When you get to that point, you have lost the essence of being a rational person. You have lost the respect of people that will trust you even to hire you. Okay? I cannot hire you knowing that as soon as I fire you, everything that you had or everything that we said is gone. That is not right. Nobody else is going to hire you. Nobody
Oh,
else is going to trust you as a friend. So for me,
Mr. Fagon was still in his position and he was speaking to issues.
but the personal
Like,
attack,
no,
on Kev, that's when it got out of line. That's what I was
yeah,
trying
the
to
reason that, for example, you guys want to see Kev on a statement. I mean, Eugene on the statement. I also remember Kev also attacked Eugene of receiving, of them, he and Kev receiving, Kev and Eugene receiving, I think,
do.
50,000 to plan a
Okay, let me
program
ask
for
you a question.
women.
How many times every single person that go on Spoon accused Kev Hassan for getting $20,000 a month or whatever? Every
I
person,
mean,
Let me
because
let me say something
99.9% of
briefly.
opposition believe
because
that.
the way Kev conduct himself,
You see, when
the
you
way
say because, you are quantifying that fact. You think it's
Well,
right.
how you
Let me
conduct
say
yourself
something
because you're
briefly.
supporting the government or what?
And let me
yes,
say something briefly. Let me say something briefly, please. Let me tell you something. If you can watch Spoon, for me, I will usually watch a replay because I saw the entire panelists. I knew I try to understand them. If you look at Spoon, with the genesis of Spoon, Kev was the lower person there in terms of pushing argument. But gradually, Kev is picking up, and Kev
yes,
is very quiet. He don't go after people. The entire Spoon, the smartest person on Spoon is Benjamin Sambi, the CEO FCC. He just talk, bro, 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 bro. Don't mind him. If he see, he don't really analyze. Timberland George is very PC. That one is the worst on the show. He's not really informed with Liberia. Doctor, that other woman they call Dr. Francis, she only know how to talk in her nose. She understand nothing
No,
about Liberia.
let me careful with the words, the way I would
That
describe
other,
her.
that other a man they call Dr. Peabody, that one is novice to Liberian politics. They think the way they think is what apply to Liberia. The smartest man is Ben Sambi. And you know what Ben Sambi usually do? Ben Sambi usually allow them to dive in the ignorant and he just come out like a neutral man be balancing the equation.
Okay.
Observe
All
that
right,
show.
Mr. Bro,
So
let me
Kev
wait there.
is a very moderate man on our show. The rest down there, apart from Kev and Ben Sam, other
Okay.
people down there are ignorant people.
All
They know
right.
nothing about
All right,
Liberian politics.
Mr.
They
Bro,
just
let me
pretending.
wait there. Let me wait there and welcome Mr. Ted Lion Yankun. Mr. Ted Lion Yankun, welcome.
Well, thank you, Dakpannah.
And for
Greetings
the record,
to
Mr.
the
Teddy
rest of
Tail
everybody.
Lion is 100% sedition.
So I have to
Exactly.
leave now, huh? I'm leaving home. You got this
Okay,
figured
well,
out.
go.
No, I'm
But
kidding,
but
but
Oh,
Yeah,
but
myself,
man,
I
you
got
don't
about
have to be
15 minutes
afraid of
here.
seditions, man. Come on.
No, but the
Yeah,
next of
sedition.
them government. But go
You know
ahead, make
that's
a point,
the
Teddy.
masses party. You know the masses party. You know it's not it's kind of a different party. It's not like the regular political party. You know you usually have
Yes. So
it's
make
a
a
party.
contribution to the discussion, Mr. Teddy.
Well, yeah. You guys were discussing about this guy who have gone loose. Former
Yeah,
deputy
you Eugene
minister
Fagon.
Eugene Fagan. But before I really continue, I would like to really greet my comrade, Mr. Bra. You know, one of the very strongest, fighting, militant, for the cause. You know, we are out there. We understand CDC is the party that we stand for. This party for the cause, for the very important reason. Well, however, uh, due to that respect, because of the calling on board to defend this party CDC, due to that respect, some of us thought that we thought Mr. former Deputy Minister Facon is somebody who have exhibited that strong, I'm saying, feelings of coming together to protect this cause. But I think Facon have been pretending. Facon is very dangerous right now to the CDC. But I mean that he asking us cannot do anything to the CDC because the CDC is a party. That's what Comrade Brown said that he's an ingrate. He's
He is planning to
definitely an ingrate.
dismantle you guys into pieces.
That's his thought. That's his thinking. But what happened is that Falcon is a novice. Also, too, we can describe him like that. I personally tell Lion Yangon, I had a very intense meeting discussion with Minister Twer in a general CDC meeting. You know, I as a chairman for operations in this state, North Dakota. And besides that, I remain as one of the active operational, I'm saying, deputy chairman for operation in that regard because my whole life is beyond CDC and the president. So, so we in America, we do everything possible to make sure we defend this party. But Falcon, our president, just a few months back, our president, intense meeting, the minister having a meeting with us. I raised that up about the minister. I told the minister clearly, when it comes to America, that we are frontline soil for the party in the state here. So I told the minister, I said, Minister, seriously, well, we don't want to put our lives on the line to defend the party in this America. We need Falcon to come back on the front line because he's a general. We respect how we've been fighting with him. So. The minister made me also understand that, they try everything possible to bring Falcon back. But Falcon, he has that childish, ingrate, complicated behavior in him that he thinks that he will, persuade out like he's sneaking. No, I pretend this part. He's not part of CDC. He's now sedition again. We're ready to fight Falcon. Now, seriously, I just a few months back, just a few months, less than 3 months, 2 or 3 months back, we had this discussion with Summit 12. Summit 12 said they did everything possible to work out the mechanism for Falcon to continue to present himself as a responsible president, but Falcon being charged. Even a little boy who just come into politics, 16-year-old boy who just come into politics, right? That child understands the true meaning of being a mature politician. We don't here to carry or challenge a little boy along us. We don't care about how much he can talk, he can do this and do that. No. He only destroy himself
But
because we
Mr.
don't care for him
Yanko,
again.
Mr. Yanko, let me hold you there. Eugene Fagon has started going after some supporters of the CDC. He go after Kev on the show every day, and now he is going after Mr. Abraham Conner. Abraham Conner, every time Abraham Conner call on the show, he attacked Mr. Abraham Conner. He even tried to link Mr. Abraham Conner with Calasco. He said Abraham Conner is a uncle to Calasco and all that kind of stuff. So he may also go after President Weah and other government officials. Are you guys not
Well,
afraid?
no,
Of
we're not
what?
afraid because he behaving like a kid. You know, Falcon has proven his simplicity on the show to Kev Hassan. Everybody knows how Kev Hassan show him that brother love. But Falcon is jealous. He got jealous heart. I observed that very seriously recently. I'm the one I strongly defend Falcon behind the scene, discussing to our hierarchies then that we should several things of Falcon, but what our hierarchies told. This why always good to listen to your leader. My leader told me what they told us, right? So thing. And recently Falcon has proved that. So I said, oh yeah. Almost over 20
Perhaps,
right for proof. But
you
what
guys
happened is that let me just
you guys they didn't treat him fair because he even said that he had never had a meeting with President Weah. When Leisure already read the minister information, the Leisure already color speech where he ill treated him, denying for even going on a trip with the president, all kind of stuff. So you guys didn't treat him fair, so he's angry, he gonna lose.
What
But
happened
is it better than being a
if you enter
better?
in the arena of elders, you got to learn how to behave mature. Falcon took himself in that political arena despite they gave him that privilege, but he'll be able to lousy that kind of funny way. So if the president feeling vibes like that, and what the president was not feeling, that's why he has already proven to the people. Even when somebody not feel you, and when they not ready to welcome you yet, you should really respect the movement. You should know how to present yourself. But if you're lousy in a kind of funny way, nobody the person not going to give you that room. And definitely he has proven himself as somebody in that direction. So we are very careful with him. And we got few more months to election. Falcon is there propagating message against the CDC and the president on that show. I see that he's jealous of Kev Hassan. He feels that he should have been the one in that position. But being humble, that's why Kev don't have all those doctorate degree or whatsoever thing. But because of humbleness and he working along with the plan, definitely Kev Hassan is more successful and more blessed
And let me
than
buttress
him.
you. Let me
Yeah,
buttress you, my brother.
Mr. Brown Butchers, go ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Thank you,
let me
Mr. Bro.
buttress you. You see,
Yeah,
if you want to be a smart politician, if even you never went to school for politics, you have to read the 48 laws of power.
sure.
If you read the 48 laws of power, you will govern yourself around your leaders. Leaders are people who God destined. Sometimes they can see you and see certain things in you that you yourself cannot see about yourself. President Weah, he doesn't like people who can show themselves too much. He loves humble people because he's a humble man. Fagon is not a type. Fagon is one of the biggest Liberian ingrates that we have witnessed in our contemporary
Mr.
time.
Brown, this man sacrifice. They been
He
sacrificed for the
sacrificed
party.
nothing.
He
Fagon
was in the
sacrificed more than me,
government. He was
more
there
than other
defending,
citizens
fighting
that
the
go there.
Let me
oppositions.
ask, Dakpannah, what do you call sacrifice?
Yeah.
What you call sacrifice? Sit
Dakpannah,
down in
Under
a
the
big
second,
boy shop and
under the circumstances, he was working. He said he didn't have any fitting car. The car that he got was a smoking car.
yeah,
It broke down here on many occasions. No stopping, no operation budget for his office, and all kind of things he said that he went through.
Dakpannah,
Mhm, mhm.
this man left America, went to Liberia, correct? This man was making more than the average Liberian person that was running under that sycamore tree since 2005, right?
Mhm.
No, those are just questions I'm asking you, right?
Yeah.
He was doing well enough to leave his family in America to go to Liberia. Am I correct? So how can you be suffering? Because Gus Kwama ain't leaving America to go to Liberia. I'm sorry. So if it's not worth me going to Liberia, like he did, he took upon himself to go there, and he was doing well enough for himself. Let's be honest.
Eugene even lost his family because of CDC. God, just so you know that.
How,
that's
Bobby?
hey,
That is not
Was NCDC who told you
nobody.
not to keep a zip up?
excuse me, excuse me,
That is not true.
excuse me, Excuse me, the brother who talk about Eugene lost his family because of CDC. We care less about that. People lost their life because of CDC.
Exactly. Tell me about
So we
that.
care
And
less
those
about that.
But Mr. Bro, I
He,
think
he,
probably need to tell how. Because
uh, first of
what I
all,
understand is
Eugene,
that he got himself involved in adultery. He committed adultery.
thank you. That's what I was going to. So it was not because of the CDC, but I was just giving him that other scenario that even when he lost his family because of CDC, they left with him. But it was not because of that. He committed adultery. That's why I'm
He
making when
lost
he
his
went to
business. He lost his business as
that his
well.
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
went for three
you lose
years.
your business. When you're not in your shop every day, you lose your business.
uh He worked for 3 years.
Yeah.
In fact, let me tell you something. If if for example all the people that sacrifice beyond CDC, a job where I'm gonna say, okay, I will give you opportunity to be working 2 years, then we will bring the other person 2 years to move. So I'm gonna benefit that 3 years. He took pay.
No,
So he
Okay.
didn't sacrifice anything. He got paid for the work he did. He didn't even vote for George Weah.
Exactly.
of course. But
He was
who
a
campaign
manager. He
for
never had
President
voter
Weah?
card. People who voted for the man struggle with President. We had some of them not even get job yet, but stay committed. Then men like you who didn't even vote, they brought you here. You came from America. You say you didn't smoking. I the one right now that's supposed to appoint in Liberia, and you gave me smoking card. I will use it. I will send for my car in France and put it on a ship and release it and be using my private car to go
But
to
man,
work.
you have all those papers that can put tire under their shoe left and right, still looking for
He
job.
just a
No more day. Then you come
he
and
just
You
a
say,
guys,
funny
oh,
Mm.
guess what?
Okay. So
just a
gentlemen,
funny
let's
people
Okay,
get
who don't
Mr.
let's
even
get
Dakpannah,
know his
let's
direction. He
yeah.
doesn't know his direction.
Yeah,
Dakpannah.
we want it down now. We want it down. Yeah, Teddy, go ahead and say a loud water. We'll go
Yeah,
to the last
yeah,
talking point and then we'll call it a day.
just a little more. Okay, you guys
Mhm.
talking about Falcon sacrifice so much.
That's
I've
what he
been monitoring
said.
Mr. I've been monitoring Mr. Bro. Mr. Bro is far more eloquent and intelligent and informed to have spearhead that position against Falcon. Now people who been sacrifice beyond CDC, but Falcon was given that
No,
little
but
opportunity.
the
But
men are
put it into
scientists.
better use.
You can't make scientists deputy information minister. The men are scientists. No, he qualify for that position.
Well, I mean, okay, we shouldn't go that much. But what I'm saying is that
Say what?
our president.
What you just said?
I said you're a scientist, so you not qualify for that position.
Oh, but no, but the
Well,
man, Falcon himself calling
wait,
himself political scientist. So,
do you know when we go by credential, I qualify than Pagon?
I
you know what I'm
know, but
saying?
you are a scientist. I know you are, but I'm saying you are a
Fagon is a
scientist.
student of political
Yeah,
science. Just so you know.
Dakpannah.
Eh,
Let me
eh.
learn on what I
Which
was
school he
on.
went to? Where a degree in political science? He got AA
Oh,
degree.
You see, okay,
AA, associate
But
2000.
degree.
your government appointed him, and Natalie
Yes,
was there lobbying for him to get confirmed.
that compromise, political compromise. That's why you should be grateful.
So are you
He's
telling
not
us
grateful. Yeah.
Fagon credential were compromised?
Oh, yes, the appointment position, you don't have to be overqualified to get a position. You can be a confidant and they appoint you. It is not a technical position. Remember, the government is split into two. They got civil servant and they got presidential appointees. Presidential appointees, the president can appoint ideologues to occupy the position. That's why the president don't take civil servant, because civil servant are technocrats. So that the
okay.
difference.
Okay.
Let Teddy
That
learn talk,
that
and then you answer
So
one
you
more
can
question,
even
and then
be
we call it
having
a day.
PhD, the other man
right.
have AA, the president can prefer him to being deputy minister. He will do that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Teddy. Teddy, lay your thoughts, and then we
Yeah.
add
Okay.
one more question.
So
Then we can
people
go.
keep saying that Mr. former Deputy Minister Falcon sacrificed so much for CDC. We've been knowing Falcon. Yeah, around 2014, 2015. We had a big platform called the Solution Lab. Was the platform of Octavia Goodman, and I was the international recruiting officer for that platform. That time we only used to do political ratings. People all over the world. We had a lot of intellectuals on that platform. Falcon was on that platform. Former presidential secretary or Sam Manor on that platform. I was on that platform as Teddy Lion. But I was the most, to me, 100% strong loyalty on that platform, defending President Weah on that Teddy Lion platform. Falcon, former press secretary, we knew each other on that platform. We were propagating every little message about President Weah, whether he qualified to be a candidate or not, or to run, or all these things. We were making an argument through political ratings. That's how we knew Fagon came on that platform. That from that platform, Fagon got promoted from the platform of TV Goodman. His platform, the Solution Lab. Then when Fagon start talking to. So we made huge sacrifice for the president those days on those platforms, and from that particular platform, Fagon got attracted from, and they would try to appreciate him. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing
All
else.
right.
But Fagon just
All
an
right,
ingrate,
Jenny.
as Mr. Brown said, he's an ingrate, and we're ready to fight him. You should be careful. We will fight him politically, intellectually. We will stop him from destroying us. Thank
He
you.
is arranging with the CEO of Spoon to have his own separate show. So you guys, you
Yeah,
guys gonna be on a
yeah.
serious political terroristic attack. But
Dakpannah,
Don't
I
worry.
hope you guys are
Dakpannah,
prepared.
Don't worry.
Dakpannah, the CEO was so chunking out that way. You don't even know the
Oh,
CEO. The
yeah.
CEO one day creating a chunking out that way.
Okay, all right, gentlemen, let's wrap up with this. Journalist Reddy Sear is writing a book. It's an unofficial biography of President Weah. And from the information that we're gathering, there are a lot of damaging things within our book against the president. I listened to Ronnie on Spoon. He said that he reached out to the president for the president to tell his story. President Weah said, I'm not ready to tell my story. He said he also reached out to some confidants of the president, and they couldn't get the president to speak to him. So he decided to go ahead because he had no for an answer. So, what do you got to make of the book? There are things in it that will be damaging. Now we are in election year. Don't you think that book will
For
break
me,
you,
Dakpannah,
or do you guys think that
for me,
it will make you? Go ahead,
for
Papi.
me, Dakpannah, for me,
Mhm,
Dakpannah, guys,
mhm.
I don't think it is necessary for us to comment as we speak because
Okay,
we have to wait for the book to be launched and so
okay.
that we all can fight to grab a copy to be able to
Mhm,
analyze it. It's an assumption. There's a likelihood that there might be some good things because from the song that were
mhm,
produced for that book, if you
mhm.
critically listen to the song and the lyrics in that song, portion of it is also promoting or propagating the president
Yeah, but
from
the end is
Papi,
a
are you
bad.
character.
scared? Papi, you scared? Well, let's be honest. This is God's corner. Again,
Because the reason
whether
why I have to throw the
hold on,
question
Papi.
out, Radin came on a platform and talked about it. But anyway, go ahead, guys.
Dakpannah, again,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I love about living in the West is basically what Mr. Sia is basically. It's just right. And there was a little argument between he and Kev. And actually, I wasn't on, but I would have texted Kev. Kev is a very good friend of mine. I text Kev, just like I used to do Fagon. But Fagon told me one thing one time in one of our texts. You know what the man said? So, Gus,
Mm.
you guys are the one that will call people and then y'all go behind, go people back. I said, why would I go behind anybody back? I'm calling to see how you are doing. Okay? Are you okay? Just like all these brothers are saying. So again, what I'm trying to say is, look, this book here, any book, any biography, autobiography, you name it, any one of them, we're human beings. There's gonna be the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay?
Mm.
I get the point of some CDCians that say that why is he writing about the president? I say so. There is nothing wrong with it. Matter of fact, this man, President Weah, again, the fact about a man's life, there is so much positive. There are so many positives that the negative just show that he is a human being. You know what I'm saying? But when you see what this man came from, what he has aspired to, let's just talk about football. And that's what I always tell people. President Weah left Liberia uneducated in the sense of our setting in Liberia, right? Didn't graduate high school.
Mm.
President Weah went across the globe, learned multiples of languages that all of us here that you say you educated. How many languages can
Mm.
you speak besides Loma, Kisi, Basa, and all those other things?
Mm.
Very fluent in those things. You know what that took? It took work. It took effort. It took dedication. This is what I believe. I want to read a book. I get your point, Papi. But the book will have some bad parts. That is a fact. The bad parts will be politics. Let's be honest. If you talk about politics, there's nobody that can work in the political setting and say you don't cross somebody. That lie? You know, almost like what we're saying about Eugene. Things are going to happen that you aren't going to be satisfied with. But once again, that's politics. Now, how you bounce back, it was matter. When President Weah did not win in 2005, you'll see he wasn't educated. You know what he did? He went with somebody else that you said was educated. And we got flogged again. And then he realized, you know what? The people want me. How do I satisfy these people educational, how you call it?
So, Brother God.
He went to school and did the things. You can question how
Brother
he
God.
went to school again, but it doesn't matter.
Brother God.
He went to school and got you your certificate that you said you wanted. He provided that with you.
Brother Gus.
Go ahead.
So the question here is that will it affect him negatively or positively politically?
No, it will not affect him negatively.
Dakpannah,
not
just
at
to
all.
that question. Just to that question, right?
To you, Papi, at my time.
Yeah, Papi, like the next time because somebody already dealing with you here, Cristiano King. Dealing with you on in the comment here.
Papi,
I don't care about somebody dealing with me. You know how many people can be posting me?
Even Papi that are against George Weah. Even Papi that are against George Weah.
No, Papi, not against George Weah. He's just critical of Weah government.
Okay, wait now. Okay, all right. He's critical of Weah. But even Papi will tell you, any serious human being from Liberia that knows George Weah, you cannot tell me his life story. The goodness is not over 80%. And show me a lot of another human being. If my life story, the goodness and the positive is 80%, my man, I'm a successful man. And if you think 20% of that man's life is going to be the one that we're hurting, I say, my man, you got a problem. There's too many good that can come out of the book. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Hold on there. Let's go to Papi. Papi, you have anything to say? Then we'll go to.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, hold on there. Papi.
Yes. First of all, like you said, people commenting saying that.
Yeah, Cristiano King. Cristiano King is saying that the author already talked about the book. So why are you saying we shouldn't talk about it?
The author did not talk about the book. There are questions that were asked, and the author said.
But the man want you to read, Papi. Go read.
Yes, and that's it. I want us to muster the courage to be able to go and read a book, analyze it. We can come back on the platform to be able to digest what we read. There are some good, there are some ugly, there are some positive about it. So, okay, there was a question that when you asked before
make a break positively or make a break.
Well,
Papi, there?
Liberia as a whole, yes, Liberia as a whole, let me say this for the record. Liberia as a whole, voters do not vote for whatever you say, what are negative or whatever. We are kind of people, our mind are fixed. 2023 election is a melting point in Liberia history. You go out, you come down, like for example, the newest song in town right now, the gay section and not gay section will vote for you. Will vote for you. Like the other day we're saying here, Nat McGill will be one of the very first senatorial candidates that will be announced as senator-elect. Mark my word, that will be announced as senator-elect. So for President Weah, you can go and read all the negative biography or whatever. At the end of the day, the decision of the Liberian people, they do not vote for ideas. Period. They do not vote for ideas. The Liberian people
what has ideas done, my brother?
I mean, that's it.
Let's be honest. It's almost like ideas on paper, but there's ideas that was never implemented.
At the end of the day, we want to compare our democracy with the Western democracy. It doesn't work.
My brother, the problem is you cannot try to proffer Western ideas when you do not implement those things in your own country. You talk about education. You don't have school buildings that even have laboratories from primary school to high school.
Okay.
Then you talk about education. You talk about college and universities. What is our universities doing for people in Liberia? The brightest people out of that country have to do most of their work on their own. Let's
Hello.
be honest, people.
Okay.
So you think the poor people should come
All
and
right, brother. Go ahead.
listen to you when they still have to go fend for food every day? No, they're going to listen
Hello.
to somebody that can help them
Okay.
fend for those foods.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Go. Hold on. Okay, Mr. Bro, go ahead.
Yeah, you see, thank you, Dakpannah, for that. That thing is very important. The first thing first, people don't write. You most often they write. People write the biography of successful people. People who are failure, they won't write about you. And there are two things. We have autobiography written by the individual themselves, their own life
Mm-hmm.
sky. Well, we got biography written by someone who writing for about somebody's life story.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that we Liberians not learning is this. When Ronnie called the president said, no, I'm not ready
No,
to
no,
excuse.
he didn't say. He didn't say no. He just said, "I'm not ready to tell my story."
Yes, I'm not ready. The president was right. And the president is well educated because biography, Rooney then should be going after Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who already reaching 90 to write her biography because she will soon be departing us and she has nothing again to achieve. She reached a higher peak, if you want to be sincere. Rooney then should be going to Joseph Boakai to write a biography because he's going almost to 90. He has nothing again to offer the Liberian society he has achieved. George Brown is just 56. His biography has not ended. He has
Correct.
a long way
His
to
life
do
is
some
empty.
other great stories. So he was right to say, I'm not ready yet because that president that you see will not be his limit. He got another
But
great thing.
that, but Mr. Bro, that doesn't mean that Roddy couldn't go ahead with the book.
No, but it's
That's
No,
book.
it's
the
not
It's
my
that's
not
point.
the
ready. The man is not
I'm
ready.
giving you, I'm giving you educated preface. How it should be. You know, when people
Teach,
write
brother.
about,
Teach,
you
brother.
know, when people write every human being, every educated human being, some person should write their own autobiography and people should write your biography. But you know, they got age limit. There are two ways. People can start writing the autobiography or the biography at age 70 above, or when you die, you reach that age. You can't be writing a biography of a 56 years old man because he's extremely successful and because you want to play politics. It is like you saying you educated, but in reality you are novice. In fact, you are not educated. Why are they fighting to write? As if Vatokba wrote, yeah, part of story. As if Vatokba can't even write his own story because it's less story than failure. Why are they not writing their own stories?
That's another discussion for another day.
Okay, but let's come in. Let's come in when you say whether it will have negative effect or positive.
Mm,
My brother Collie
mm.
just said something. But I differ with him on something that like Brain cannot vote on ideas. No,
That's why
that's
I
wrong.
disagree with that one. I
I
differ.
disagree on it. That I played you went wrong. The only thing that I would tell you, Liberian, many of us cannot read, so his book would be useless because like Brennan get down to read that book. So that useless book is writing.
I,
Even me, I
I
will not
also,
pay a
I,
dime for that book. So I don't care to
I
read it.
also disagree with that one too.
Then Bren will read, so who going to read it? You know how that Bren will get that information? People will just take a few chapters and put it on Facebook and be discussing it, but they will never buy that book to read it.
I mean,
So let, let me come in.
like for example, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Even me will not buy that book because it will be a waste of time because Georgia's story is just the beginning. He's just an extremely successful man. Let them be going to Ellie and Waka then to write their stories. And they be writing their own story. But you know why they will not do it? Because they won't sell. They need Georgia that brand. It will give you attention. It will give you money. Even on the social media now, if you want to get enough followers, just be Bob Buffing. We are
So,
plenty people
Mr.
be telling
Bro,
you to
Mr.
follow you.
Bro,
Just start
Mr.
social media.
Bro, Mr. Bro, if you
Yeah.
say that the book, and Brother God said it too, if you guys say that the book will not affect President Weah negatively, as it relates to the upcoming election, October 10th. Then why is the government uneasy? Why are some officials of government going after Remy trying to threaten him? Why are people
Man, we are
threatening
just
government
overseeing
officials
it.
threatening running
Mm.
not to telling
Hey,
people not to down the we are hold on now, threatening
Jabana,
running, telling people not
Jabana,
to get the horn to running. So
Jabana,
if you
don't.
guys uneasy, it means that both are threat.
Hey, Jabana, stop diving into propaganda. You heard it from Rooney Mob. You heard it from other people Mob. Who you see the government official are writing about his book to say this.
No,
That
no, that,
propaganda.
yeah, that was not confirmed.
Hey, it's
So
not confirmed.
yeah,
So
that,
No,
Rooney said it, so you believe it?
there are
Why just
hotels. I can
saying?
confirm there are hotels
Uh-huh.
in Morocco. He should
Or
have
let's
launched it
agree.
in Morocco. Because
Papi,
of
Papi,
that,
Papi, that's
some
what Ronnie said, huh? Why you did you confirm that, Papi? That
Hey,
what Ronnie
hey,
told you
Papi.
yesterday. Did you
I spoke
confirm
to
it?
some
Excuse
people
me.
from
I
Morocco.
want to end on something.
Uh-huh.
Even if Rooney say hotels, the hotels that he contacted, let just assume that we agree with him. The hotels were right because it's a useless venture. It doesn't
Hold
make
on.
why
sense.
you say that? Why you say
Hold on.
that?
He be very
Listen
smart.
now. Listen.
He's a Liberian. He's a
Yeah,
Liberian.
listen. Let me tell you something
Mm.
about business people. Because once I'm doing business, you don't put your business at risk for one foolish person. The book is political. The backdrop of that book will be political, and business people don't want to get involved into political manipulation. When he wants to launch a book, let him go to City Hall at the public building in there. Let him go to the ministerial complex and stop using
But
private people that are doing the business.
with Jefferson Coach giving audience to launch us a book, quote
He
unquote,
can.
at
He
City
can give
Hall,
you audience.
or
He
ministerial
capable of
complex.
giving you audience when you pay your money.
Because of that, Mr. Ronestier is launching
Hey, let me tell you the
Okay.
reason why Ronin Spear don't want to launch a book in Liberia. Hey, give me a chance.
Mm.
Maybe you people there don't know the tactics. He wants to
Mm.
go abroad because he want to get money. These are criminals. All these people are con
Okay.
artists.
So let's be honest.
exactly,
All right, Mr.
bro.
Bro.
Let's be
All
honest.
right, Mr.
Man, the whole
Bro.
strategy right there.
Let's
Like
be
Okay.
people will
honest.
not
Okay.
buy
Tell
that
me.
book.
No,
All the
no.
people out there will like to
How
pay a
many
little
people
money
travel
for
to Liberia to go
that.
buy to go attend your boat long? But when you have it in America, plenty like bring get money in America, they will go there, when again job where they will pay. How many people will go to your boat in
But guess
Liberia?
what?
That is strategy. Why you can think sometimes outside the box to
Exactly.
analyze
But
the
let's
people
be
con
honest.
artist behavior.
And it
So listen
won't be
Okay,
again.
seasonal
Let's
because
be honest.
they hasn't vast over both when
To
you
what the brother
anymore.
just
It,
stated.
it, sentinel,
In
let
thank
me
you.
America,
let me
Ronnie
be able to
Sear.
come in a little bit.
Go ahead.
No,
Hello,
but
Go
brother
ahead.
God in speech. But anyway, go ahead.
let me come in.
Go ahead, Papi.
Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
how great people in our country are not being documented. Like for example, there are a lot of story about some people are being like it's a fairy tale. There is no document. So for Mr. Ronestier coming out to document Mr. Weir in a book and in an unofficial, like the title said, an unofficial biography, it's not something wrong. It's not something
We're
wrong.
not saying it's
Tomorrow,
something wrong. Who's
you,
saying there's
you
something wrong?
But
yourself
we never
can be
say
able
he's
to
wrong.
Yeah, who
We
said it was
wouldn't say
something
the
wrong?
intent is myopic. The intent is
Okay.
myopic.
Yeah.
reflect
The
venture.
intent is myopic because listen, let me tell you something. Amos Sawyer get that our interim president. Let him read biography for Amos Sawyer.
Nobody would buy it.
Nobody will buy it. Why you won't be fighting to read biography for a 56-year-old man? It's myopic.
Joseph
The
Boakai said
intent is criminal. He wants to make money on a weird brand. And it's criminal.
Joseph Boakai said he
He
would
wants to
turn.
accomplish two missions. He wants to
Joseph
make
Boakai.
money on a weird brand and also diminish him politically. He got that other money politically from the evil politician already. He ate that one. Now he want to make money again from the sale of it in America from the hateful people that are in America. That's the intent. We're not saying he wrong. He has a right to rap both or anyone he wants to. But he chooses we are because of manipulation, political manipulation and criminal animal of money. Only we are brand.
Okay.
Look, and
Can he
the
rap
truth
on
here
his
is
own
this,
life and we make 1 cent? He
and
run
the
this
truth,
year.
right, and the truth here is this:
Okay.
everybody that
Mm-hmm.
listens
Brother God,
and
after
be
you
in
go
this
to
clubhouse,
Mr. Yankum.
you can say
Mm.
what you want to say. This man, you're just lucky Weah is a black man. If Mr. Weah was a Caucasian, his success would have been so much that all these people that come and say they're rich. President Weah's story is so, I mean, people don't get it. Ronnie Sear has seen a door or an opening, and he's trying to take advantage of it. That's all he's doing, like the brother said. He knows he stands to gain a lot. Ronnie Sear, look, one thing I respect Ronnie for is this. Ronnie spent a lot of time in the West. He's got a lot of followers in the West. So Ronnie is taking advantage of this, where now this book can go global. Because let's be honest, this is the first black man, African man to own that Ballon d'Or. Nobody ever. And I'm not sure we'll get another person ever. Okay? Because of what we know about the racist voting process and all of those things. Ronnie is seeing that he can take advantage of this because Mr. Weah team has not. So what he's doing is this. He's leveraging his international contact. This is why he's coming out here. He's going to what? London, right? Those are places where you can get the internet. Where is Ronnie linking up to? Ronnie has enough money with his contact. Ronnie's here, the first Liberian, I would say, that will be, well, the other lady that did it with Ellen, but because Ellen was famous again, and Ellen did give her time, that's what happened. Same thing. That book made a lot of money. So now he's going to use, it's going to be a Barnes & Noble. You know what that means? That's a lot of money. Barnes & Nobles and all those places. He is basically leveraging the fact that he has international contact being a journalist and knowing the subject, Mr. Weah, who is very important, not only in the football world, but Africa as a whole. Have it ever occurred to you guys when you see African footballers, you see European footballers around President Weah, how much they all kind of basically revere him? Who wouldn't want to read that story? You see what I'm saying? That's all it is. So when they make up of, oh, nowhere in Liberia will want to give me a space to go host my book. Are you kidding me? What my brother place over there, that place could give you a place.
Come on, people, man. Rhetoric. Also rhetoric.
Opposition.
He would do that. He would do that, but then he was being bad both with the government.
Big compound. You can even host the place outside and put a tent out if you really want to. No, Ronnie's here. Are you telling me he cannot do those things? Let's be honest, man. The truth here is this. They're going to make a lot of money off of Mr. Weah's story because it's a telling story. It's a story that even the Liberian people believe in. This is what they want them to lead. So thank you, man.
All right, Teddy. Let's close up on your end.
Okay. Absolutely. These two brothers already, if nobody has ever analyzed this whole Ronnie Sear scam, these two brothers have given, the general public a little bit of hint to Ronnie Sear's intent behind this whole book business, because Ronnie Sear's proximity with the outside world, with the West, very close to the West rather than Liberia or the folks in Africa. So he knows definitely people out of Liberia will definitely be interested to buy this book. So he playing games with those who trying to destroy President Weah for political reasons. For political reasons, based on that, the timing of this book is a wrong time. It's wrong. It has propensity on our election, to change things or not. That's what I believe. But we are very much strong enough to balance things. But Ronnie Sear using those detractors, enemies of President Weah and the government, to help sponsor the whole project, the whole book business. Their interest is that if Ronnie Sear launch this book, it will help to change the whole electoral process to their favor. But it's not going to happen like that, because that kind of weaponry can only be used into a country that fully well digitalized and having high rate of educated people in the country. Our voters, our rural people, even some people who even been in the school, so long they resolve, Liberians will resolve to the idea. There is this man, have been the first man or president
Uh,
leader to start
Terry,
demonstrating all this kind of leadership to us
Terry,
will forever be behind. Yes,
Terry,
yes.
let me hold you right there. Let me I'll take a call here. Caller, welcome and name and where you calling from.
Thank you. My name is Gerald calling in.
My man, but you have been on the show, but anyway, go ahead.
Dakpannah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Hold on,
thank
hold
you
on,
for
hold on,
letting me share. I'm calling.
hold on, Gerald, hold on.
I'm
Yeah.
Hold
hearing
on.
him.
Yeah, because everybody hear
I can't
me.
hear him.
So,
Can
God,
anybody
maybe you
else
can
hear
hear me,
him?
but
I'm
yeah,
hearing
everybody
him.
hear me. Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Gerald. God, go
Yeah,
out and in.
thank you, Dakpannah, for bringing me on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following the conversation, though I'm not really still alone, but I've been following the debate about the book, the launch, the book,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I listened to one of the guys saying, the panelists saying that it is premature to write about George Weah because he has not accomplished all he's supposed to accomplish, and it is suitable to write about somebody when the person has approached 70 or when the person has died.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's one of the reasons they give it because of the political stance they are taking in the big genuine, especially to protect the image of President Weah
Mm-hmm.
going to the elections. But to say it is premature to read about George Weah, or he has not achieved everything that you go read about former President Salif and other people,
Mm-hmm.
or he has not approached 70, or he died before, I think that is premature. The name George Weah is not, any kind of ordinary name.
Mm-hmm.
But right, if our society was not so illiterate, the education standard was not so low, and the education rate was not so low,
Mm-hmm.
George Weah now should have had more than 15, 20 books about him on the wall in everywhere in Liberia, they're written by Liberian authors. But sadly, our society is not educated. People like Darius DeLong in America, like most of you are in now,
Mm-hmm.
they will have had biographies with no junior senator in Congress, state legislature, if you check Walmart, you see books about them. What's more about George Weah, who has reached that level? If it was not really politics,
Mm-hmm.
Rodney DC should be applauded for writing about President Weah for people, the young generation who didn't see him playing,
Gerald,
to know more about him.
Gerald, the guy,
So
Gerald,
that debate that has to do with he has not reached 70, he has not he has not achieved what he's able to achieve, so he should be reading
Let me
about it is
let me
wrong.
give
Gerald,
clarity,
you getting
probably
me?
the
The
misunderstanding
start of
my
the book
point.
as a more
So I want to give
official,
Mr.
clarity.
God,
the author
I'm not hearing
is
you.
telling the public that this was not sanctioned by President Weah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Gerald.
Yes. So by saying unofficial biography, it means this was not sanctioned by President Weah. He didn't give interview. He didn't give his personal account. He didn't approve or authorize. So that doesn't mean that you don't read about it when the person is a public figure and you have tangible information, more information that you think you can read about it. And left with the person that you really thought about to come up and debunk some of the things you read about it or to say, think about it. Or at the stage of at the level that President Weah has reached,
Mm.
I mean, nothing is written about him. If you go on the internet and you see about the border will be killing and they ask back to back border, you people are there denigrating that I don't know book, and that is so sad. At the level he has reached, the top person in Africa, the only person who mark for now have won the Ballon d'Or. Not the Ballon d'Or, nothing.
So,
Cristiano Ronaldo,
Gerald,
Messi, the other players,
Gerald,
Ito, Drogba,
Gerald,
go just go and go and read about the ball. I'm very ready about them.
Gerald,
So at
Gerald.
this stage, we should be encouraging
Gerald, you getting me?
People to read about the president. Yeah, I get it
Yeah,
now.
so people are questioning the intent of running. It does he have a good intent or bad intent? Coming out with this book in an election year.
I think if you follow the book, if you follow the introduction, some of the things I've been reading about it,
Mhm.
it says it's been, I know, some years in the making, 4 or 5 years in the making.
Yes.
So that's talking about Clinton. That book is laid forever, for ages. The election I don't know, 23, it will come and go.
Mm.
But the reality it will win. It will leave for another 6 years. It will come and go. That book it stays on forever.
Okay.
Scholars
Dakpannah,
will use it. People will use it for
Yeah,
research. TV,
Okay, hold on.
generation, those who
I
produce
need to,
today.
I will soon be
that,
They
leaving.
will
So,
Dakpannah.
connect to them. They
Okay.
themselves
Yeah,
will
hold
use
on.
them
Okay.
connected to them will still follow A and B.
Okay.
So it's not about, we shouldn't look at the implication now.
All
If
right.
the will be elected, it shouldn't be that the board have registered,
All right.
they will be elected or may not be elected. It shouldn't be that book. We should wait and see
Okay.
and follow.
Mm.
Yeah. We shouldn't be thinking about something for political and political academia. That book was there. If you follow Barack Obama, they have a lot of books. Even when you're president, a lot of
Okay.
books.
All
And
right,
I was
Gerald.
doing a favor. I talk about things.
All right.
Come on.
All
Again,
right.
I was sitting, it's so illiterate, and it's so
Yeah, for
sad
some
that
reason
other
I
people are
can't hear
saying,
him.
and other
Okay.
people will be saying, but it
All
should
right.
be applauded.
All right,
Yeah.
Gerald. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I
All right.
hope you have me on the show. I know you just told me about it and you then connect me again.
I will call you. Sorry, I will call you.
All right, but you guys go ahead. I'll follow it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Gentlemen. Yeah, gentlemen.
yeah,
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it
Dakpannah,
up.
Dakpannah, I think
Mm.
the net, anyway, you got your show. I'll talk to you on that one in private. But
Okay.
I think I'm going to give clarity to our sister that just left from the land.
No,
I
that's
never
his
said
brother.
Rooney was
Like
in.
brother. No, brother.
Okay, brother. I
Yeah.
never said Rooney was in a wrong or right team. He has a right. I was just saying the intent and why he chose Weir for him and mine is for two reasons: politics and to make money out of the Weir brand. Because if he was a true writer that want to write Liberian story, we have a lot of great Liberians that are very old and some of them die. Just start to write their story. But you abandon that one, you're targeting one human being. And one thing they forget to know, the more you target we are, the more you become blessed. So keep writing. The children will come and how they will be writing the We Are family story till they will get tired. So that's it.
Okay.
But I'm not
Okay.
saying that he was wrong for writing no, or his intent is not good. That was all.
All right, gentlemen. I appreciate
yeah,
all of you guys for coming. So let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up and take our exit.
yeah. That
Let's go ahead.
that's when
Anybody
I
can
was
jump in.
talking
Mm.
when the lady
Okay, go ahead. No,
finished.
that's a mail.
So
Why I call him lady? That's a mail.
oh, it was a male. Okay, very voice. Yeah, Dakpannah. Actually, we all having problem with the intent, the timing. It has a political intent, so we are aware of that. Definitely, running here, everything is consequential. In this life, you know, President, we are the reason why we are strongly skeptical about the timing and the intent because you know you're seeing people, including Ronnie C. He says he's a journalist, but he's been biased. Librarians they know out there. Those same people have expressed so much of hate, jealousy, creating all kinds of fabricated stories just to get our president where to break him down, to do this, do that. So, and those same people trying to come up to write an authorized biography for this president at this crucial time of our election. You know, they want to come up with that. Then we say we should sugarcoat it.
But
Say,
Teddy, you
of
don't know
course,
why it's in the book. You don't know why it's in the
no, we
book.
don't
So
care.
why
It's
why
not
are
about
you
what is
guys
in the book or not. Okay, it's not matter what is in the book in this book or not. But at this type of time, he should get it to the back of his
In
mind
fact,
that he's coming
Teddy,
to
let me just
yes,
30 seconds. Precedent in the case. As a battle babo cause the man
uh,
woman. That is quite precedent.
of course.
So
You
that's the
see,
issue. So all the
yeah,
above, everybody will classify as nonsensical. Because of
You
the
know,
first book that came, or he had no good intent, then he coming with book.
sensitive, topic like this, we know we want to flex ourselves, our intellectual ability that we can talk this, we want to back, but we should be very
All right,
careful.
guys, I gotta
Our
go.
country,
Okay.
Liberia,
Yeah,
when,
bro,
when
hold
when it
on.
comes to this kind of things, we should speak truth to power. Because what we're
Okay.
saying out there, we're going to affect the young people back there. At this type of crucial time, he want to come and read such a book, about the president's life. He making some sort of a judgment. But also too, we are trying to sensitize our people that, of course, it's necessary to read a book. So people can have some rights to read books. And Mr. Broad saying, we have a whole lot of important people being in our society. Some of them have a peculiar, leadership style towards us, like J.O.B. Joseph Yuma Bwaka, who of that age, but still insisting he wants to be president. So about his 42 years in spent in power. These are things that we should be writing about. You can Mary can come up, any joining elite who came out and say, okay, break the mansion down, we'll build back, lower it down to 4 feet level, we'll build it right back. Okay, this kind of peculiar, circumstances, about our lifetime. Ronnie says he should come out as he said God gave him that gift of writing. At least people were supporting him about that. But this particular time where they really ready to fight President Weah, and we've seen the desperations in their faces, in their lives, about want to be president, want to take the leadership of CDC from President Weah, whoever shown the Liberian people that he can manage a little bit of money to clear our country. And we will forgo him for others who seen that, who have destroyed our country. We should forgo him for that. No, later we say no, and the battle is on. We are ready to fight. We'll fight. We'll fight it to the last. We'll fight it. We'll use our intellectual arsenals to fight this fight. This in the 2023, we are not retreating. We are not backing down. They should retreat because we have the numbers now. We got the support. Thank you.
All right, Terry. Thank you. That go to Mr. Broad. Then we that wrap it up, Mr. Broad. We appreciate you for always answering our call to come on the platform and just watch out for us. You'll always be here because we got access to you, so we'll always try to make use of the opportunity. We'll rather waiting us to death. We'll rather waiting us to death. Go ahead.
Yeah.
For sure.
Loyal we shall ever
Thank you,
be,
Dakpannah.
Dakpannah. We will always be loyal because we came from the same from high school days. And
Yeah.
I appreciate I got on your show 2 o'clock this morning, my time. Right now it's
Definitely. Can you imagine?
5:57. And I
Don't
was
sleep.
meaning I'm not sleeping again because I gotta go now to work.
Yeah, the work.
So yeah, so I'm not sleeping. So that's another thing. But no problem. We appreciate that because we are here to provide some ideas to our Liberian people and those that follow us. So it's very important. But let us one important thing I want to say before I leave is one thing, whether we from the opposition or from the low position or from the current position, the ruling party or whatsoever position, we are all one. And I think all of us want the betterment of our country. The only thing is we just thinking from different angles. So what we need to do is to just put up our critical thinking cap to analyze it from a fair point. That when it is against you, admit. When you see in progress, admit. Let's rebrand our country to make progress. We should stop destroying the image of our country. Let allow peace to reign and let other us help to build Liberia. Other us can carry investment in Liberia. Investment are not white people alone, they are not spirit. Even Liberian can be investors. That was to my closing, that was for example, Fagon, who talking about Western cluster, he put in politics because maybe for example those people should leave. When those people be bombing now, that bombing people will get affected. If Fagon not get one human being in bombing that he say, oh, they wasn't working in my house as cleaner. But people then take their investment from far distance away in the country on different kind of politics want to damage. So these are people who they don't want to contribute, but they want to use the people condition to get political relevance. We should stop these kind of things. We should help to build our country and for us all to live a better life. I want to say thank you. I will always come when you call upon me, except I'm totally blocked up. So I
Yeah.
love you, my brother Collie.
We
I
understand.
love you very much. Let's always be in touch. Our other brother who left, what his
Yeah,
name?
Gus. Gus.
Boss. And the other brother too, the other brother, what his name again?
Shelton. Shelton.
Yeah, Cheton. And my brother Teddy.
Hey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, my brother. You're a fighter. We fight them politically. Now we're gone, but we're our bare
Oh,
hand, we're our mouth.
yeah, my man.
They
Thank
get
you, my
time
man.
there.
I
About
always
that,
been
busy
watching you.
people.
We learn from you a lot too. But well, bro,
Yeah,
in Greenville, before you reach the Seabed Bridge,
yeah.
Before you reach the Seabed Bridge, to the St. Joseph Catholic School. They had a St. Joseph Catholic School over there. Before you reach the Seabed Bridge, yeah, my
Yeah, no place.
grandfather, your partner get a food shop. That food shop, our house, the food I put in live over many years, for more than 50 years. And my grandfather, David Bacher Sapi, Omer Sapi, my beloved
So
late
we are
grandfather.
brothers
Yeah,
because we from the same place.
yeah.
Wow.
My
I will
place there.
take your
I
contact
know
on
you want to
Japana
sound
so we
strong,
can get
man.
connected.
You want
Yes.
to strong, but
I
you know that area that we used to go there on vacation. You know, leave Monrovia. Yeah, well, my Omer Sapi, I know District
Yeah,
1. Yeah, part of
that's it.
sound of
That's it. You are
yeah
welcome.
that
We
area.
talk that way. Even I will take your contact on Japana so we can be in touch.
Yeah, Dakpannah, you know, he's kind of a likable person. You know, everybody, you know, when you carry yourself, people will
So,
love you,
so
respect you.
Japana,
It's our
for
good
me, I
yeah.
life.
was not monitoring the
So,
show on Facebook. So you say where they show it on different page?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We on Dakpannah 24 online.
Japana 24 online. Okay, no
Online, yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So can I leave
yeah.
now?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Okay then.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
So
So,
Terry, close up on
yeah.
your end and then go to Papi.
Tell you all right.
Oh, okay. Uh,
Oh,
okay.
Terry
Yeah,
already close.
let Papi go ahead. I'll yeah, you
No,
know, so,
no, Papi is the host. Papi is one of the hosts, so he can close
oh,
before me. So you close.
okay. Yeah.
Mm.
You know, yeah. Actually, I see, Mr. Bright, you know, have explained everything, and we all Liberians, we need to, follow that wave of unity, wave of propagating the necessary, message for Liberia for education purpose. We shouldn't say because we are leading ruling party or in the opposition, we can just put any red meat out there for the Liberian people, and we should bear in the back of our mind anything we say here the next few months or year will still affect us, whether positively or negatively. So we should learn our lessons. We gradually learn our lessons that whenever you send out the wrong message to your people and when it affect the people in wrongly or good. So Liberia is all we have. It's what we want. We are Liberians, and we should be very very careful with people who already have destroyed our country and brought war to us. And the same recipe, the same formulas, they are applying the same formulas. We Liberians, we should be unanimous, against certain things, speak against certain things that that affect every one of us in general. We should be united to speak against these things, and we should be united to speak with one voice when it comes to educating the foreign masses, the children. We should bear the importance of the children in our mind, as we carry on all these political activities or political action against each other. We should always bear the back of our mind because Liberia right now to the crossroad and President Weah, to us that support President Weah, we don't really see anything bad about President Weah's life. President Weah is just another human being just like yourself, and he has his, as Gus was on the show, that if I can see anything but 80% goodness about this man, of this person, that's it. So anything they want to, the way they want to judge President Weah's life, whether they want to explain 25, 20% negativities about his life, that's their business. We as Liberians, the foot soldiers,
Mm.
we made up our mind to support this president. So we
Okay.
understand that he's not Jesus Christ. He's not the most righteous man on planet Earth. He has his butt, his mistakes, and at this time they want to come explain things. Whether we will listen to some other mistaken things about President Weah's life, things that they can fight this election to change the minds of Liberians. No, we're not going like that. We know that Ronnie Shea is a liar already. He's a serious liar.
Okay.
He's not going to come
Okay.
tell anything that we're going to change that will change our mind. And those people money
All
he
right.
eating to sponsor his project for his book, he only eating that money because nothing going to change our minds. That Bruins
Okay,
were
Teddy.
resolved and President Weah is the best. We'll support him. Thank you.
Thank you, Teddy. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're always gonna jump in at any time. But
Thank you,
Mr.
brother.
Papi Sheriff Collie Jr., you, Papi, are you there? Papi, you congratulate me here though.
On what?
You see the monetization of the platform?
Oh, I was saying it. Well, I finish doing this, and I will come.
Yeah. I was fighting to do it because the thing is half of you don't understand. I've been fighting with it, at least yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Liberia is the only country that we have, so all we can do is to keep talking about the issues. Thank you.
Okay, you done?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all of you guys been following. Want to say thank you for joining the platform. Yeah, today I couldn't say much because yeah, I try to give the when we have guests on, I don't say much because I want the guests to talk more. But when we just among ourselves talking, they can come up now and say my own. But next Sunday, we intend to bring somebody else on as a guest. We're making an arrangement. We hope that it will work well. So I want to say thank you. Please, Dakpannah 24 online is the platform. Those of you that always follow the Dakpannah 24, this is the vision. We're having issue. We're having issue with that platform. Facebook is restricting our platform. So because of that, our views are decreasing. They are suppressing our views because they say we violate some of the community standard. So that's the reason why we created an alternative, which is this Dakpannah 24 online. Everything is spelled in words. Dakpannah 24 online. So you guys who love the show and all want to follow, just like this page, follow. As soon as we come on, they will let you guys know because we don't have no issue with this current page. It's a new page. We don't have no issue with it. So you guys like it and follow it, and then you will be right on top. As soon as you come on, you'll be on top to jump in. So I want to say thanks to all of you guys. The discussion was hectic. This is all that we need to do. Continue to create, this kind of engage within this kind of conversation about our country. I want to appreciate Mr. William Bro for accepting our invitation all the way there in France. In fact, because of the show, he couldn't sleep. Now it's in the morning now. He'll be getting ready to go to work. But I want to say that love for country, and I also want to appreciate Mr. Teddy Ted Lion Yanko for jumping in, and also Mr. Shelton Duo for coming, and he had to leave due to some engagement. And Papi, Silver Collie, Mr. Augusta Koma, and the rest of the folks. I want to say thanks to all you guys that have been following the broadcast. All of you guys that have been following the broadcast. We appreciate you guys. They say little is much from God is in it. We appreciate you guys for being on here with us, sitting on our voices. We're discussing Liberia and want to appreciate Gerald T. Konyin and my dear friend. The reason why I didn't bring you on, Gerald, let me address it. I really don't know what is going on with the ANC people in this platform. The ANC people is like because of our critical stance against the ANC, they are putting a black off on our platform. I remember way back I brought on the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Not the Secretary, I think he was the Deputy Secretary General. His name is Jonathan Dolake. I thought he was in Liberia. When I got the information that he was in the US, I reached out to him. And I had a plan that he was going to come on the platform. And then at the end of the day, we arranged everything. Time for the show, he didn't come on. Since then, when I try to reach him, he don't come on my platform, but I see him on other platforms. But he don't come on my platform anymore. I don't know why. It is because of our critical stance against the ANC and Mr. Cummings. We don't hate Cummings. We don't hate Mr. Cummings. We only here to speak the truth. We only here to critique him. He want to be our president. So if we don't critique him, if we don't criticize him in a constructive way, then we will make him to be what? Relax. We'll make him to be relaxed and all of those things. Yeah, so we got to critique him. That's what we do. With these guys from the ANC and the CDC, we come here, we critique the government as well. We critique the other folks in the opposition, but we'll reach out to them to come on. So now there's a guy called Maba Cassidy. I think Maba Cassidy is the Secretary General of the youth of the ANC, I think Youth Congress. ANC Youth Congress. He and myself are friends on Facebook. When I got the information that he was in the US, I reached out to him. And, at the end of the day, he came on the show. And I know it's like he was on the show, then he received a call that he should get out of the show. As long he made the first comment, before we could go back to him, he left the show. He left the show, and since then, so he and William Brush should have been on here to get into a debate. We're trying to organize a debate between he and William Brush. Because William Brush also from the Youth League, the CDC Youth League, and he from the ANC Youth Congress. So one of the two of them facing each other. I called him and I discussed it with him. He agreed. By the end of the day, in the down minute, trying to call him, he refused to answer my phone. He refused to respond to my text and other things. So I just decided I will not bow the ANC people anymore. Yeseni Martin, the same thing she did with me. Yeseni Martin Faye, she did the same thing to me. So every time I reach out to the ANC people, they don't want to come on the show. So the only person that can come on when they get time that Mohammed Jacken, and Mohammed Jacken is not a senior official in the ANC. He's just a supporter of Cummings, and he's not a senior official. So he always come on here as a panelist because the reason why I think he always come on here is because we also have this platform together. So ANC people are following the broadcast. Please tell your people to not run away from our platform. We afford all the opportunity to come here so that we can discuss that period. We may have our opinion on issues, but it doesn't mean that we will monopolize this platform. No, this platform is not for government, it's not for opposition, it's not for ruling position, it's not for imposition, it's for Liberia. So if you are Liberian, if you have anything to say, we'll bring it on here. The only thing we say, just be respectful in your analysis or your suggestion or your recommendation or your critique. So that's the thing. Maybe I didn't bring Gerald because I wanted for Gerald to moderate. So I planned that Gerald going to moderate, but then when the guy refused to respond to my text, refused to answer my call, so I decided to bring Gerald on. But that was a mistake on my part. I know I should have I brought Gerald on for all to discuss. But anyway, I will reach out to Gerald, and then next week Sunday, Gerald will be on here with us. But I want to say thank you. We're trying to upgrade our platform. We're trying to get there. Y'all please help us. When we come on, y'all have to share the live. Y'all have to share the live. Because when y'all share the live, we'll get more people to come on. Please, like this page, follow this page. We don't have no fault with Facebook on this page. We haven't violated any community standard on this page. So if you like it, if you follow it, you will get a notification as soon as we come on. So we will still be broadcasting on the Dakpannah 24 television platform, but it will be limited because it's on a restriction. But I want to say thank you all for the time. We will always be here. And I don't know why you guys didn't call. You see the number is there in the bottom there. It's scrolling through. We're trying to make the platform to be more modern than us. Yeah. So the number is there. But I don't know why you guys didn't call. But I want to say thanks to all of you guys. I appreciate all of you guys for being around. We'll be back again another time. Thank you all. God bless Mama Liberia and save our country. All right, so I want to say goodbye.